Hello, you're listening to Otaku Spirit Animecast. My name's Andrew, and I'm joined here with Chris.
Yo.
Today is a discussional podcast episode. We'll go through the news that seems important to us, it should be important to you because it's important to us, and then dive into some first impressions. We got first impressions time.
Yeah.
Well, and also mid-season, because apparently you got caught up on 2P Hero X, and you want to talk about it, so we'll talk about that. But yes, as per usual, at otakuspirit.com is where you can go for all of our links, social media links, ways to get a hold of us, ways to support us. We greatly appreciate it. It supports the channel. But yeah, with that said, how's it going, Chris? How's the last week been? Or month?
Last month, I got my Switch.
You got a Switch.
I got my
You
Switch.
did get your Switch too.
Yes, I did.
Are you regretting it yet?
No.
Mine's just sitting over here.
Why would I regret it? I actually immediately found out. I don't know if you know, but with our family plan, you got the upgrades for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom for free.
Oh, you didn't have to pay for it? Do you lose it once the family plan's gone?
Huh?
Do you lose it once the family plan's gone?
I hope not.
You probably do. You probably do. It's like a subscription thing to keep you signed up. You'll lose that if you drop it. Yeah, now watch. If you ever to sign out of having that plan, I bet it'll say, unfortunately, you'll lose these two things. You want to stick around, don't you?
But yeah, I've been dinking around with.
So you got to Switch 2 to play an old game.
Yes.
Did you even get Mario Kart?
Huh?
Did you even get Mario Kart?
Yes, I got the Mario Kart World. We dinked around with it. We're having a blast with it. So it's pretty fun. But yeah, I've been dinking around on Breath of the Wild, having fun with that. It's really nice to get back into it after so long of not playing it. So
did you get the app and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. You're all plugged in with all the different things. Got the camera. Did you get the camera?
No.
Oh.
I don't need no camera.
You don't want to connect? You don't want a connect situation where they're spying on you? Like this is some new thing that Connect was the last one that did this before? I still get a kick out of that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got mine just to play, like, you know, visual novels and stuff on the side, and it's like, I've been so busy. I don't get to play anything. My only time off that I'm having right now, I'm playing Death Stranding.
Oh, yeah?
I wanted to play Death Stranding 2 because it looks so good, and it's got Pekora in it. Which, by the way, I now have Pekora behind me. It's no longer behind Chris. Everything's been moved around. But no, I wanted to play with because Pekora, and it looks really amazing. The second one looks, and you know, be ready for whenever the PC version comes out. So I got the PC version of 1, and I've been playing that. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it is kind of bad with the whole delivery stuff. Like it's, I decided to play it also because I felt like it could be almost an Iyashikei kind of thing. Like a relaxing, healing type of thing, just doing menial tasks of delivering stuff. But like, yeah, sometimes like the whole like holding the shoulder buttons to hold left or right sides, and you have to lean sometimes. It's like, it's so freaking annoying. And the moment you get a vehicle, it's like, please, this should have always been the case. You should always have a vehicle, and you should never have to walk anywhere because walking sucks and vehicles are great. But it's been good. Like, it's just a very cinematic, crazy Kojima thing, and that's the thing that I'm kind of interested in. Because he's weird. It's got, like, people talking about beaches, and when you die, you go to the other side where the beach is, and if anybody is to die, they have to be, like, moved away from people because they just turn into basically nukes, and they just blow up an entire area. So, like, if somebody dies, you literally have to just get them out of there fast. It's weird. It's like, he's got a baby inside of him, but he's got a baby in a pouch that he plugs into himself, and I don't know. It's Kojima. And that's the weird part. They're like... So, I have no clue what's going on, but apparently I'm going across America. I'm about halfway across America, connecting everybody, and I have no clue what's happening in the story.
Cool.
But I'm going to get to... hopefully the sequels is good. Hopefully all this deliveries is worth it in the end. I don't know. And yeah, I throw my piss at people. That's the other thing. Your bodily fluids hurt stuff, so you can throw piss at stuff. Or you can just pee on them. Seems
legit.
Just make sure to always keep yourself loaded. Always keep it ready to go. Anyways, that's my Death Stranding talk. That's about mostly I've been doing, just keeping up on shows. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is still like hell for me. We've got 3 more weeks, I think, because I think Arc Knights will be the first one I think is going to end. The next big one that I'm doing right now, I think that's the next one that's going to be ending for me because I think it's only going 10 episodes. So I think I only have like a couple more weeks of that. But, like, I'm at the point now where, like, oh, I just can't wait till this season ends. Because hopefully I think next season's going to be a lot more calmer. I haven't seen too much crazy stuff in fall yet. We'll find out in about 4 more weeks when we do our preview.
So you got some shows that you're going to try and convince me to watch?
Of the current season? Mm-hmm. I've already told you Takopi. Okay. You have to watch Takopi.
Okay, Takopi.
Like, if we get to the end of the year and we do our year, like, anime of the year, like, if we're going, okay, guys, next podcast, we're doing the anime of the year stuff, so get ready, and I'm going to turn to you and say, did you watch Takopi yet? And we're going to probably stop right there and just watch it, because we're not doing the anime of the year without you watching it.
Gotcha.
It's extremely hard to watch, but it's incredible. Like, it's like a Grave of the Fireflies thing, where, like, I'm pretty sure we knew that it was going to be, I don't know, I don't remember if we knew that it was going to be that dark. But it's one of those things where, like, I would still tell my old self, you still have to watch it. You have to have this experience. That's Takopi, which we'll talk about in a minute. We might talk about it in this podcast. I'm not sure. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, we're doing impressions right now. It's like, I've already done reviews. I've done episode impressions. I've done a review video. Do you guys want it on podcast too? We might talk about it a little bit, but I can sell you on it, I guess, when we talk about it. But anyways, we got some news stuff to go through. Again, we have some news that should be important to y'all because it's important to us. Nothing really big. I mean, obviously the biggest thing that's happening right now is the whole crap around Valve and payment processors and that stuff, which I don't know if you have a say on that stuff or you care to talk about it. I'm tired of talking.
No, I think I brought up the banks, like, way back when we were first talking about this crap. Yeah. And now suddenly it's coming out and it's like, I got this weird kick out of it. I was like, finally, y'all are caught up to me now.
Well, we've been talking about it just because mainly on Japan. Like, for the longest time, it's Japan. It's like constantly they were getting hit with this stuff, and then finally, Valve's having it happen. And Valve's being I'm happy that Valve's being very clear about what's happening. So I mean, they even had this whole situation apparently with PayPal cutting off certain regions with certain currencies, and I'm like, I don't know if that has anything to do with the same thing we're talking about with the whole censorship stuff, but I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt them sort of like going for the lesser currencies that they can sort of strong arm them to say, now USD's next.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know yet. But that's just been stupid. I say that I'm tired of talking about it because I made a lot of videos on it, but it's also one of those things where I want to keep talking about it because I think it's important. So I can keep telling people, it's like, you have to contact, your representatives. Like, this is not going to get fixed by, flooding calls at MasterCard. They don't care. It's not going to change them. It's going to upset them. They might revert something, but they're going to do it again later on. I don't see any way of fixing it without legislation. And I hate saying that. Yeah. I really don't like saying that, but they've become monopolies. MasterCard, PayPal, mostly MasterCard and Visa, they've become monopolies. It's either that or somebody else creates another currency, or not currency, but a payment method, which, from what I understand, is not easy. I think Elon Musk, has been dealing with like blocks for it.
Discover and American Express have been trying desperately to do their own for a long time, and they're still struggling to get nationalized.
Yeah, I think the biggest kick for me was like, oh, so Elon apparently wants to do it, and I mean, whether you like Elon or don't, it's still another person. It's another party.
I want to say that.
I want to say that he's been running into roadblocks for it. Like, he's literally not been able to do it.
I want to say that Amazon started Synchrony, and Synchrony is just barely getting to the point where they're getting recognized.
Amazon Pay? Isn't it Amazon Pay or is it Amazon Pay using MasterCard and Visa?
They've tied into MasterCard, but
you'd figure they're so big they'd want to do their own thing.
Visa. So who's Synchrony?
I don't know. I never heard of that one.
Synchrony is a bank that I know that is tied into one of the big tech companies.
Maybe it would be either Facebook or Microsoft, I guess.
I doubt it's Microsoft, because Microsoft hasn't gone over into money.
How do you spell it?
SYNCHRONY.
Financial services. I just want Wikipedia. I don't care to go to their website. Financial services companies headquartered in Stamford, Connecticut, United States, Consumer Financial Group, FDIC. It doesn't say. History, Capital Retail Finance Corporation, Synchrony, Delaware, Co. Credit Productions. It doesn't say a company they're with. It's crazy. I hate it. Hoping something kind of corrects your note. I know I made a video talking about the whole like executive order that Trump did, and it was like, even when I was reading through that whole thing, I'm like, this seems like this is more focused on political stuff, not necessarily, again, I don't want to sell etchy stuff, But at the same time, the way that it was worded, it was wanting to remove damage to the brand type of thinking. They wanted to remove those clauses, and that's literally what MasterCard cites whenever they remove people. Same thing Visa cites every time they remove somebody, is this idea of it's irreparable damage to the brand.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can see that possibly helping out, but I don't know. But again, I more so was pushing people, you need to contact your representative, and now you have something to point to. Look, they're making executive orders on this stuff, and you guys face, possibly, depending on what your representative is, could have faced some sort of persecution in the past for their political beliefs, and it's the payment processors. Let's talk to them. I always point out the what's the one I always point out, the Fair Online Banking Act or whatever it's called, the S401, I believe, is one of the bills. There's two of them, but I have a whole video. Go back and look at my video list. But I always point to that one. Like, that one looks really good because that one's specifically targeting at, you have to have a legal reason why you cannot do this payment. The way that I read it, and again, I tell people, do your own research. The way that I read it, it looked like its purpose is to say, unless what you're selling is illegal, you can't decline somebody to process that payment. It's basically saying, yes, we won't force you to break the law by doing that purchase, but you can't say otherwise. Like, you can't say because, again, you're in this political leaning or whatever. It was very broad the way it was written. So written.
And the stupid thing is they've been training us to get our monies into the bank for years, and
right.
Now suddenly, they have control over what we can and cannot buy, and that bugs out of me. I'm sorry.
That was my whole point. Is I think that with I'm going more and more into the belief that, pretty much in the belief of the fact that payment processing has become a commodity. It has become a necessity. It's like running water. It's like, plumbing. It's like electricity. It's those types of things. And in that situation, there should not be a dictation of what you process. Because I was talking about, I think it was on a live stream. I was talking about how, like, I think at some point, I think it was during when the whole COVID stuff started kicking up. Or maybe it was like early in that. It might have been during that, like, whole recession that we had recently. About 15 years ago or so. Things were getting really rough. And I was like, I wonder, because they were talking about the bank shutting down and everything. Mm-hmm. And what I thought at that time was, like, I want to get, like, a wad of cash. That far back? That far back? I wanted to get a wad of cash and put it into an envelope and put it in a drawer somewhere in case the banks wouldn't transaction anything. And I'm like, I can go and get some bills and buy something. But we're now at the point now where what are you gonna what can you buy with that wad of cash? We're at the point now where you go to the store and somebody's gonna look at you weird if you have them a bill. Like, everybody's like, well, here's the card slider. Like, you're gonna hand them a $20 bill. Oh crap. Yeah. Like, how does this work again? Like, that when you go to a place, like, I think the last time I like bought something with cash was probably during one of the trips that we did a while back across country. And it's literally to the point now where, like, when you hand somebody a $5 bill or something like that, they hesitantly grab it, and then they take forever to count what your change is going to be if they don't have something to tell them what your change is going to be. And even if it tells them your change is $1.54, they're going to have to figure out, okay, that's right. That's 2 dimes and, oh God, I don't remember. Like, they don't know how to make 50. They're like 2 quarters. There you go. Now the pennies. Just nobody deals with cash anymore. It's all card. And so that gets to my point. Is everything is digital now, and with that mindset, they need to start treating it as if it is electricity or something like that, where you can't dictate who gets that service or not, because everybody has to use the card, plain and simple. There's no options anymore. You can't send $5 to Valve to buy, a game, even though they're looking at other options apparently. So, Valve Valve needs to get with Elon and get with just anybody. I wouldn't be too far against Amazon, but I don't trust Amazon either. I think Amazon would fall in the same problems as the rest of them. They would fall in that same loop. I don't know.
I don't know that I'd trust anybody who's too big to to have. Well, I mean, if you're being honest, Elon we got lucky. In all honesty, anybody else, yeah, you're pretty much in a. Yeah, maybe we'll give him a shot. Keep an eye on him. Hopefully, he'll do the right thing, but you never know.
The mark. I was gonna look at the. No, when is this? Do they say the policy date? They don't say the policy date. I was gonna look at MasterCard and see if they removed the mark statement. I don't think they did though. I should check that at some point because I was curious if I know that Steam wouldn't remove that policy about the credit cards because they're gonna still want to keep that on there in case this doesn't kind of solve something. But I was kind of wondering if possibly MasterCard would immediately remove that from their policy, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, yeah, that whole stuff sucks. We'll see where that goes. Other news I have. Did you see that whole video on Dandadan's infringement stuff? I made another video today. That was kind of funny. Did you watch Dandadan? You didn't watch Dandadan, never mind. You should watch episode 18. Just watch that episode because it was cool. You loved X Japan back in the day, right?
What's that?
X Japan, the band, the metal band in Japan.
I don't remember.
Remember X, the anime? They got really well. I found them, and a lot of people that I knew found them through X, the anime.
Okay.
And it was because they had that song that was in that, and it was like, I mean, I think they did most of their music in there, but it's really awesome metal music. Anyways, in the manga of Dandadan, they had a moment where there's an exorcist they have to do, and so they bring in these guys that literally sing to draw out the spirit so they can do an exorcism. And literally, they're the band members of X Japan. It's literally the band members. It's just they kind of spoof it a little bit with the names changing a little bit, but when the anime adapted it, not only did they have them hold out business cards with every band member of X Japan's name on the business cards, except for like some alteration to it, like Yoshikio or something like that. They also had a artist sing a parody, or you call it an homage, obviously, but a parody of, I believe it was the song Kurenai from X Japan, and just change the lyrics to basically be singing about, drawing spirits and exercising, all that stuff. It's like the hunting or something like that. Hunting spirits or something like that. But yeah, they did that whole episode. It was incredible. Like the whole sequence is just way, way well done. Again, a full-on song and everything for it. Well, Yoshiki, one of the band members of X Japan, people were tweeting at them saying, "Hey, look, I think this is your song." And they look at it and they're like, "This is so cool. Like, this is really cool. I never heard about this anime or anything. I need to check out the rest of it. This is so fun and everything. This is a really good doing." The band member that did the new song was literally saying, "Yeah, I did it as, out of respect and love for X Japan." And they're quote retweeting them and saying, let's get together for a session at some point. Like, it was so cool. Like, everybody's coming together all happy. And then suddenly out of nowhere, Yoshiki's like, "I got a phone call from a lawyer." Apparently somebody didn't ask for permission. Come to find out, Sony Music Japan literally owns the Kurenai song, and they're not happy about it. And so it kind of turned this whole thing where, not Yoshiki or X Japan's being involved. It's just Sony doesn't like that. Which is funny because, again, Dandadan is owned, or production committee for Dandadan has Aniplex. So it's like, okay, see yourself. Which can happen. Yeah, it's been crazy. The only thing that's new that's happened here recently that I made a video on today was of recording of this is that the song is being pulled from Japanese streaming services like Apple TV, or not Apple TV, Apple Music, Apple TV too, Apple Music, Spotify, everything's kind of pulling it down, which I'm guessing is probably just let's pull this down until we figure out what's going on. We might get sued. It was crazy. It sucked though. I thought you knew X Japan. That's great. You probably know them. You just don't remember them.
Recognize it.
Probably if you heard. Yeah, I think when I was getting really into Gact, I think they were kind of with them basically in my mind. So honestly, when this whole thing happened, I thought of Gact immediately. Like, no, I'm thinking of Gact. Because gosh dang Gact, dude. I was a massive Gact fan for the longest time, dude. I turned into a little Gact nerd. Anyways, that's happening.
Everybody's like, "What's a Gact?"
Gact. I always had fun saying that name, Gact. It's a weird name. Come on, be honest.
All of our seasoned members are like, "Yeah, I know Gact."
Those who know are the true ones, the real ones. The real ones. No, it's funny because when I made my first video on this whole situation, I'm like, I recorded quite a bit of the video, and then I realized at some point, okay, go back. I have to explain what X Japan is technically, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know this. So I'm like, I gotta actually talk about. I actually have to explain to the new ones. Let's talk about what is X Japan.
Does that mean that we have to explain GACT, or should we just let them discover?
No,
GACT
yeah, search it. We probably should say how to spell it. GACHKT,
No,
right?
it's CKT.
Huh? CKT?
GACKT.
That sounds right. Yeah, you sound like you're more. Yours sounds better. It just makes more sense. Anyways,
You can double check me.
No, I'm gonna trust you.
Now
That
you got
way,
me all
if
messed
you're
up.
wrong,
Now I'm adding extra CKTs.
You're saying that you're not sure.
No, I'm just letting you check me.
Why would I have to check you though? Why would I not want to believe you? It's GACKT, yes. And they're 52 years old.
Jeez.
Actually, younger than I thought they would be. I thought they were much. I thought they were much older than me. Honestly,
It's
Much
funny
older.
seeing some of the celebrities that are just dropping like flies around us anymore. It's
gosh,
like,
dude,
oh no, I'm getting
it's a sign.
old.
It's a sign. It's a sign. I'm just surprised. Like certain people, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, hasn't kicked the bucket. Like that dude's old.
Well, Hulk Hogan was like, wait, how old is he? No way.
I thought he was. He's one of those ones where I figured he would have kicked a long time ago. So that's kind of a shocker for me. Anyways.
Well, the guy from Fresh Prince, I didn't think he was that old.
Yeah. The other big news, I think, in my opinion, is definitely that Alpha Polis has acquired all the shares of White Fox Company. So apparently,
we lost White Fox.
I think so. A lot of people don't think so. A lot of people want to hope. I want to hope, but I also don't think it's going to happen.
I'm realistic.
So Alpha Polis, which
I border on the edge of pessimistic. So
I think the only good thing that Alpha Polis has published is probably Tsukimichi. Everything else is like just trash, like utter trash. I think there's one other title, I forget what it was. But they don't have really good titles. But yeah, when they said they were acquiring White Fox, which I think went on literally like a couple weeks ago. When they said they were buying them, their focus was to accelerate the animation of their IPs. And so the idea there is that, yeah, probably White Fox is going to keep doing what they're currently producing, probably finish the next season, the next broadcast of ReZero, they're probably still finishing. But the idea is that probably after that, you're going to probably see a lot of Alpha Polis stuff kind of start being thrown into the mix for White Fox. Not that they have a million things to produce. Not like they're going to have like a full-on year schedule of 5 shows to adapt. But the idea is that they're going to have... It's basically Alpha Polis buying White Fox, in my opinion, is really them cutting in line. Okay, whenever we want something adapted, White Fox is going to do it because they're our company now. But a lot of people are concerned, obviously, for ReZero. I think that's going to be a big concern.
How much money does who's backing Alpha Polis?
Just them. Just a publishing company.
There's nobody up behind them.
Not that I don't think when I checked before. Otherwise, I would have mentioned if there was something behind them. But I think the concern obviously is what's going to happen at ReZero, and I know that the owner, I forget what his name is, the previous owner of White Fox, he did end up posting that he's going to do everything he can to keep doing. Yeah, I don't think they have I don't see anything as a parent company. They just have listed as White Fox as a subsidiary. But Iwasa
just made a lot of money off of Tsukimichi. I can't imagine anything else.
So they have a bankroll. I mean, it's not like I don't know that White Fox is like an insanely expensive company. I mean, they were based on the numbers they released. They weren't
are generally pretty polished.
But
if anything, I could see it going the other way. White Fox buying off Apollos.
It's a studio. Studios in most cases are just all losing money. White Fox, even when they released the note that they were buying White Fox, they released a earnings report, and their earnings report was like I remember, I don't want to call out a number and be wrong. Let me see if it's on this thing right here. Yeah, their sales performance for the last 3 years They net shared their net profits is 3.9 million yen. 3.9 million yen for the last 3 years. That's their profits. Which is, how much is that? I forget. Let's see.
About 13 or 1.3.
I want to say like 39,000. Yeah, $26,000. 3 years they earned $26,000. You think they have money to buy Alpha Polis? Now
but the flip can be true as well. That's what I'm saying.
Publishing companies make a fortune. These people are banking money. That's why Kadokawa and all them are throwing money at studios to produce stuff. That's the whole argument that we've always had, right? Why does a stupid manga get an anime adaptation? Because they want them to come buy their dirt cheap manga. If they can have a good 2 first episodes, that'll get people into the store and buy their manga that they make for like pennies on the dollar, like probably a fraction of a penny, and they sell it for like $5. They're making bank. These publishing companies are making bank. That's why I always argue, and I think you were kind of agreeing with most of the time, that these studios and publishing companies need to be won more often. Which, yeah, I want to praise this. Like, this is a publishing company that will have a studio under them that they can make their own stuff and bank their own money here, because the studios don't make squat. Again, White Fox is not making money. Argue, they could be shuffling money. Like, I mean, I wouldn't put it past these studios, and I'm not going to claim that Iwasa is doing that. I wouldn't run it by them. There's been plenty of cases in the past of these companies shuffling money, embezzling money or whatever. But again, $26,000 for 3 years of making ReZero and stuff. They're not making much. And again, that could be technically a positive there, in the fact that they're putting their effort back and hopefully into the employees and the work they're doing. It could be that I don't know that I've heard too much controversies around ReZero. I want to say I've heard some, but nothing that like can be substantiated anyways yet. But I don't know. I'm agree with, because like somebody actually called me out and I'm like, yeah, technically in the past I've said that I think that more publishers should have studios, but I'm not positive on this. I'm not in a positive nature on this one, because it's a studio being bought up by a publisher and thus losing its own autonomy that it already had. It's not White Fox becoming the publisher. It's not White Fox becoming a Kyoto Animation. It's a Kadokawa stealing the identity and ownership of a Cloverworks or something like that. Anyways. But yeah, Iwasa did say that he was still wanting to ReZero, so that kind of alleviates a lot of fears that people have with ReZero. But my argument there is that Iwasa doesn't own White Fox anymore. Like, everybody was kind of going, hey, look at this post that Iwasa made. He says that he's still working hard on ReZero and they're going to still work hard. Iwasa doesn't own White Fox anymore.
Yeah.
Aquapolis does. Or Alphapolis. I want to keep on Aquapolis. Alphapolis owns it now. Alphapolis is going to tell him what to do. You're going to make this, whatever. I think what he's basically saying, my interpretation of him saying that is really that he does love ReZero and he wants to work. It does seem like the way that he spoke, I think he is sort of very familiar with the author. And so they have sort of a friendship there, it seems like. So it could be more the idea that, yeah, I was arguing, yeah, if things don't work out with White Fox, he wants to work with White Fox. They're going to keep doing that work with White Fox. He wants to keep working with White Fox because it is technically part of this big brand thing that he has. But if it doesn't work out, my original kind of prediction is, would he just take that money and go make another studio? Or would he just go over and go with another studio to work to finish it? I mean, it's not totally out of the realm of possibility. In the end, ReZero is going to get produced.
Just based on the way you were wording it, to me, it sounds like he's going to try to maintain his autonomy, not necessarily that he's completely going to give up on control of it, what projects are done.
Possibly. I don't know. It could all come. It can come down to the idea that they still want him to head it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like they bought them again, possibly just for the sake of being able to get in front of the line with their own works, but in the end, they don't want to run it. They bought it, but they don't want to run it. It seems like he's keeping the studio at least above water, head above the water, but they still want that little leverage there, I guess. Yeah, the other concern that was popping up was, of course, that White Fox and Egg Firm came together to make a particular studio.
Yeah.
Bind. So there was a concern there about Bind, but like I told a lot of people, presumably White Fox and Egg Firm are 50-50 on it. So White Fox can't control Bind. So I don't know necessarily that anything will really change with Bind. I mean, something's going to have an effect eventually, because they technically own half of it, but they still have to talk to Egg Firm. Egg Firm's still got partial ownership of it, so unless they buy Egg Firm too, and out of nowhere, Alpha Pulse is like, oh, we're gonna buy Egg Firm too, and then we're gonna just cancel Mushoku Tensei, and then Mushoku Tensei get completely canceled. I don't know. We'll see. Anything else? Anything else news that I want to talk about? I don't know. This is like zoomed in like crazy. Oh, both screens. Okay, I didn't realize that. Anyways, I think that was the party cover. Got that covered. I don't want to talk about Fate Strange Fake. I don't want to talk about. Unless you have something to say about that Fate Strange Fake. Mm-hmm. Literally at the Fate Grand Order Fest 2025, they showed off episode 2 of Fate Strange Fake, and they said we're working hard for more. It took them an entire year to make one episode. That show's doomed, dude. That show's doomed. I don't care anymore. Let's talk about some impressions. We have plenty of time to talk about impressions. That'd be good. But yes, the summer season's taken off.
Yep.
It's been exciting. It's killing me personally. Mm-hmm. I love it, but I gotta admit that it's tiring. There's a lot of really fantastic shows coming out. I asked Chris to tell me some shows that he watched. I'm happy to see that he's keeping up on certain shows. Like I thought you would get behind on 2B Hero X. What do you?
I technically did.
Let's talk about 2B Hero X at the end. I don't want to spoil things yet. Did you said that you watched Call of the Night though?
Yeah.
I'm happy about that. What do you think about Call of the Night season 2 so far?
It feels like it's if I'm getting being blunt, my short answer is it feels different. My long answer is I love it. I love the new direction that it's going. It's kind of really digging into the hunter and most of your vampires kind of background, at least the Nazuna family's background. And I think that it's really fun to see a lot of that. But like I said, it feels very different than it did last season, the first season.
I think I sort of agree with you, because I think it technically started building into this stuff late last season. Because basically when the detective showed up, when Anko showed up, that was when everything kind of shifted. When they went to the school and Anko showed up and they had the vampire that they took down, that's where it kind of shifted. You now have a threat that is coming after the vampires. Now, obviously solidified in this season when finally she literally comes up to them and says, here's how I take you down. This is show that I can do it. It literally was like, this is how it's done. It's starting to kind of build up at the beginning of the season, but I think it quickly shifted back into let's deep dive the characters. That's really what it is, because with what Anko is doing to weaken the vampires, it requires them to have to know about their past, and so it's forcing them to look into their past. I did get a kick out of the fact that they don't know anything about their past. They have to figure it out because they have vampires have a innate nature to forget their past so that they can get as a defensive mechanism to get away from their weakness.
Right.
But the problem is that creates a weakness that they don't know what their weakness is until they figure it out. It was a cool little kind of addition there, but I find it good because it's forcing us to actually look into these characters.
Yeah.
Now I'm a little bit puzzled by last week's episode, because suddenly it's like, oh, well, let's stop doing that and let's start focusing on what ended up being technically story focused, but it was like, why did we go from, okay, finally we found out what Kabura's is, good, Kabura's safe. Okay, we found out what Midori's is, not technically. Hopefully Midori's okay. Let's go check out Nico maybe. Maybe Nico's got a problem with finding her weakness. No, we're going to go to school. Again, it technically comes back to something important, but it's still like, because you have the same assumption that I do, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
More than likely.
We know where we're going with this, and it's technically story focused for the current issue, but it's still like, why was this so like sidetracked? I don't know how far I went into spoilers, but I was like, that's got to be her, because I remember that whole like flashback scene in the previous episodes, and then suddenly she starts getting excited. I'm like, oh, that's her voice.
It's so her voice.
So her voice.
It's definitely her voice.
and then she puts on that outfit, and I'm like, there, yeah, okay, let's stop. We're done. We'll stop. Moving on. It was interesting that we introduced Kiku and then suddenly just get sidetracked. It feels like it's kind of. I like that it's not going, okay, this is the story about this. It's still got like all these threads that are kind of being developed, and it feels almost scattershot, but it doesn't feel off. Like, because again, we introduced Kiku, which seems to be a threat, and then suddenly the detective shows up, and that's a threat, and now we're going to school, and suddenly we're finding out about this whole backstory thing, and it just feels kind of, it feels like it could be scattershot, but it's still working. I still love the show like crazy though. I think it's the aesthetic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Love the style. I love the character designs themselves. I was pointing out, like, with the last episode, Nazuna had like 4 different outfits. Please, more shows have outfits for characters. Like, that was one of the reasons I loved Liquid Coil. Like, I love when the characters have like different outfits the entire show, different styles and all that kind of stuff. That's something I always loved about the show. Did you like Kiku's introduction?
Kiku.
Yeah, his friend's girl that he likes.
Yeah.
I had this was an admittance at the end of the first season when they first kind of introduced her as being like this love interest for him. I'm like, I wonder if she's gonna be a vampire. And so I literally, after the first season ended, I read up to the point where they revealed that, just because I wanted to know the answer. So I knew before this season started, but the show did so good introducing her. She's this is what I'm waiting for. I'm like, she's I had like one of those moments of like, okay, hopefully she'll be like, Nazan and the rest of them. Like, she's not a dangerous threat. Like, maybe she wants to turn him. But no, it's like, she goes, you're not telling him. Oh, but you should really tell him. You're not telling him. Do you understand me? And I'm like, nope. And then she started walking away, and then she starts saying, this is what I was waiting for. And she's getting all like creepy face on. I'm like, oh gosh, she's that. This is what she gets her rockers off. Like, she's so into this whole thing of playing hard to get. This is all what she's been building up to. This is what she gets a kick out of. Because it implied the idea that she's turned lots of people.
Yeah.
But like, well, if she's not turning him, then obviously she's taking this seriously. I'm like, no.
No, it's this
is her thing.
She wants him to beg him.
Yep, this is her thing. She enjoys this whole part of it. But no, I did like Anko's initial confrontation with Akihito and showing the whole weakness stuff. That whole scene was amazing. I really did want to believe that Anko's part vampire. I don't think so now, but I just really think that she's going to be part vampire. I thought she was going to be a half-breed. But then we revealed, of course, there's a different half-breed in the story. But I was convinced that she was half-breed because...
I kind of thought so, too. Because of how strong she is.
She closed that freaking distance.
Yeah.
She's strong. She closed that distance faster than... Like, you had... was it Hatsuka? You had, like... Anybody else there? Oh, you had Akihito, obviously. Hatsuko, Akihito... I think that was the only vampires there. But she, like, went from way down here... Whoosh, like that fast. I'm like, she's gotta be part vampire. She's for sure. And she's stabbing the dude into the air. I mean, it could be just like an artistic choice, but it was like, she's gotta be half vampire.
Do you? Okay. How spoiler do we want to get?
I know we could do spoiler. We'll just say spoilers now. If you guys want to check the timestamps, we'll have like where the next thing we talk about is. So full on spoiler from this part on. You have 5 more seconds for 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. How far do you want to go with the whole Nazuna being a halfling?
What about how far about it?
How do we want to take the word of the reader? It is basically what I'm saying.
Trust that they were telling the truth?
Yeah, trust that I mean, even Kabura gave the out. How do I even remember my own memories or something like that?
She doesn't understand. She knows her memories because she drinks her own blood, but she doesn't understand the feelings behind it. That was her whole thing there. From what I gathered from that whole scene, it was the fact that she was trying to understand love by drinking it, and she wasn't figuring it out. She didn't even know what love was, kind of thing. I believe that I don't see any reason why Nazuna would not be a half at this point. Just because there's so many things that they're kind of confirming with her that's sort of an oddity with how she acts, all the memories gone, having to learn how to basically being a baby from the birth, having the fact that Kabura has met the father. Yeah, the whole thing could be a lie, but the biggest struggle there really is that Kabura would be lying and putting Nazuna in danger by lying. Because the whole point that they were trying to look into Nazuna is to find out what her weakness is. So if she lies and says that she was born vampire, that puts her at a weakness. I still think she's going to have a weakness no matter what.
Well, I don't know that Kabura necessarily lied. She may have been kind of tricked in some way, shape, or form. It's
which
this
would be
weird...
really screwed up because literally the person that she loved so much went off with another guy and got pregnant.
Yeah,
that's a really messed up way to trick somebody.
Or Nazuna is Haru, and they and she just convinced her somehow to make her own memories disappear as a way to make herself invincible. I don't know. That one was the weirdest little explanation.
I obviously thought that Haru was going to be Nazuna, just lost memories. But the moment that she said that she literally got a letter to go take care of her daughter, that she was dying, and the father shows up with the letter, and then she goes to the house and finds a child that she was about to kill, and that child is again seemingly older than what she should be, but then she's got the lack of memories or anything to be able to even speak. I'm like, it's a little bit of a stretch that she wrote a letter and lost her memories. Like, did she write a letter and then because she knew that she was going to get attacked, and then she knew that she was going to lose her memories when she got attacked, and then...
that would work for me. I mean,
I was saying that jokingly.
I have a child. I'm getting ready to give birth to a child, but the child is already born. There was all kinds of just...
No, it makes sense because the whole thing there is that the moment that she fell in love with this guy, a human, she chose to stop drinking blood because she didn't want to consume other men's blood, obviously. But she didn't want to drink blood anymore because she was now with a man. And then she somehow got pregnant, and which they didn't think was really possible. She had the child, but because of the birth itself was so hard on her, she died because she wouldn't drink blood to restore herself. So it was an aspect that she was already in a weakened state because she wasn't drinking blood. She has a child, which shouldn't happen with a vampire and a human. It does so much damage to her, and she can't recover because she doesn't want to drink blood.
So it grew. She grew really fast.
Now that's the oddity, because it doesn't really say how long it was. It doesn't say if that was 10 years later. It doesn't say how long Nazuna was there before she finally died. I agree with you there. There's the oddity. Why is Nazuna that age when she confronts her? Again, Kabura and everybody else is just assuming, it's because this is something that shouldn't happen. Like this is something that's so unknown. So maybe children just physically grow fast, but their brain is still a child. And so again, she has to teach her how to eat and all that kind of stuff. I don't see Kabura not having seen through that. Cause she's madly in love with Haru. If she sees Nazuna sitting there in that bed, and walks up and goes, "No, you're definitely Haru." Like if she would have seen through it. I think that if she physically seen Nazuna's face and was like, "No, you're not Nazuna, you're Haru. What happened to you? Did you lose your memories? This doesn't add up." She would totally see through it. If Haru was hiding her identity, or that Haru lost her memories, Kabura was seeing through it. Because she loved her so much. She was broken. It implied the fact that she wanted to die when she found out that she went off and when she told her that she got this guy and was getting married to him and everything. I don't know. I agree. I'm not against what you're saying, but I don't think what they've laid out is too far-fetched of actually being true, just because of the Kabura factor. I see Kabura of anybody seeing through that facade if it happened. And I think the idea of her breaking down and claim that, you left, I guess to your argument, the best to your statement, to your argument, the best argument I would give to you to use is the whole thing of her breaking down after making Nazuna's hair. Haru, why'd you leave me? Yes, you can see it as her literally Nazuna looks back at her and she sees Haru and it's again what she says, being around you is suffering because she keeps thinking of Haru. But that could be her seeing Haru, but that Haru's not in there no more and it hurts her.
Yeah.
But why would she internally constantly say, did I do right, Nazuna? Or Haru, did I raise your daughter right? Did I do a good job raising your daughter? No matter what, Kabura's not lying. There's too many inner dialogues of Kabura saying, did I raise your daughter the way that you wanted? Basically, can I die now? She wants to die now. She's waiting for Nazuna to turn Ko, and then she wants to die. Because Haru's gone. So Kabura for sure is not lying. I don't see how Kabura's lying. But I can go with you on the idea that I can see it possibly being maybe a lie to her. But I don't know. Again, I don't see... How would Haru know that she's going to lose her memories and turn into Nazuna? It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. They could do some crazy twist, but I would... They would have to do a damn good job of explaining it, because I would probably be mad. Because it would have to be a massive stretch at this point.
Yeah.
But the spoiler's been opened. So what are you thinking of Anko? What do you think of young Anko?
I'm waiting for the reveal of how we got from there to the new Anko, or from one to the other, because I mean obviously they already said that both of her parents got killed,
and the cause is a vampire. I don't think it's Nazuna.
You don't think so?
Nah, Nazuna would say it was because of me. I don't think that she would make it vague like a vampire.
Yeah,
and I think what it's going to be is...
She kind of paused for a second at that point, so...
I think it's one of those things where I think what's going to happen is that, yes, I think the father probably is involved with the vampire. The vampire will attack the father, or maybe turn the father. A scuffle is going to happen with that vampire, and it causes a rift between Anko and Nazuna. Now, the question mark that I really have, and it makes sense from Nazuna's perspective, because, again, she's lost most of this memories, and she's only recently getting it back.
You're getting to what I was concerned about.
Why did Anko recognize... I maybe want to go back and look at the previous scenes, like, again, at them at the school, because I think Nazuna was there with them, question mark? No, Nazuna wasn't there at the school with them. Have we had a scene with Nazuna confronting Anko?
I want to say that we have seen a scene of the two of them.
I want to go back there and see if Anko at least acknowledged it. Like, did she notice something? Because again, obviously why Nazuna doesn't respond. She's forgotten that stuff. But I seriously want to think Anko possibly. But it's also kind of make you wonder. That's the reason why Anko's she's very casual with Ko. Anko's always kind of very buddy with Ko, and it's almost like she's trying to help him at times. She's kind of snarky with it, obviously, but it does seem like she tries to help Ko, and sort of always calls him out specifically, like the whole the bathhouse. Ko, you liar! You said you're not hanging out with these people. You're lying to me, Ko. She kind of treats him like a brother, and so I wonder if that's because she knows that he's marked by Nazuna, and she still likes Nazuna.
Either that, or she's trying to use Ko as a way to get to Nazuna.
I've always seen that. Well, no, I've always seen. I thought you were gonna go in this direction. I've always seen her using Ko as a bait. He's obviously connected to the vampires. If I keep looking for him, I'll find the vampires.
Well, the reason why I was saying that he's a way to get, because they in the last episode they just flat out laid it out. She's using connections to these people to get to their weaknesses.
It has to be something that reminds them. It has to be something that they're strongly tied to of their human life.
Right. And
so Nazuna has never been human, so that she doesn't have weakness.
Right. And so that's going to be her dead end, but she's got to find some way to get to her. She did say in this last episode there's more than one way to kill him. Yeah. So
I was gonna say that earlier too. Yeah. It's not like Nazuna is invulnerable. It's not like now that, Kabura has supposedly... I would assume that the blood was Kabura's. Because she said that the other stuff just kind of gives her a slight headache. I thought it was going to be the picture, but she said that was something she got afterwards. She developed it afterwards, but I think hers is blood. But they didn't say what Midori's was. They just said the guy looked up for anything of her past, and I bought a bunch of stuff. Like he's like super simp for Midori. I did like the otaku guy, LG, whatever his name is. LG was cool, but yeah, he just gathered a bunch of her stuff, and then okay, I'll burn it. We're not gonna get into what it is, like what, because again, they have to say that it like they specify that it hurts them, like it makes them have a headache, and so yeah, with the whole thing with Kabura, it assumes it could be the notebook that was on the table or something else that was on the table there. But the glasses obviously for Akihito, the the dojinshis of Midori that LG had, that was funny. Something they made before they changed that really ties them to that. Which I was pointing out this in my video. Why does Anko keep carrying around a lighter?
That was from Daddy.
Daddy's a vampire.
Yeah, that's pretty
She's
good.
keeping it. She's keeping it for that day.
That would lean into her being a half breed.
If he's always been a vampire since her birth, but no, she's aged. Well, I mean, if Nazuna is a true half breed and not going on your idea of her being lied to, Nazuna is the example of a half breed. They grow to a certain age and they stay there. And they imply the idea that they always keep sort of a youth look, and normally they don't gain weight and stuff. They always have like a pretty good figure. The only reason LG is fat is because he's literally overly indulging with the noodles because he loves it. But normally he should be skinny. Anko is getting older. And it's only been 10 years she's grown older. She's aging. Anko. So again, if Nazuna is actually Haru and that's a lie, Anko could be our example of a half-breed. And they could age. But what did Haru also say in the letter? We don't know how half-breeds work. I don't even know if she's going to take on attributes of a vampire. I don't know if she'll need to drink blood. Please take care of her. Anko could be example of the human side having more of a dominance, whereas Nazuna is the vampire's more dominance.
True.
So it could still work out that yes, Anko's father is vampire. It's just that she has more human attribute. I think it's gonna. I still think I'm leaning more on the idea that it's just gonna be simply the father gets turned. Her father gets turned. Whoever they think that the father's having an affair with could technically be a vampire. Kiku. Maybe Kiku. The vampire. There's gonna be some tie-in with maybe that's how they're gonna tie in Kiku with this, because they introduce Kiku, then they get all sidetracked with this other stuff. They start learning more about Anko, and then we're gonna loop back to find out that Anko's father got in with Kiku, and Kiku showed up at their house one day, turned them, and Anko got mad. The mother died. Tie everything together. It's gonna be that simple.
I like it better if he was always a vampire.
Yeah, but I'm with you on that, and the idea that I think
I'm not quite there that I want to hate Kiku yet. I don't want to hate her yet.
Yeah, I keep trying to think of how we can make Anko a vampire, because I'm still stuck on how fast she moves. But she's aged again. She aged since that day, because I was thinking, well, maybe back there she changed her. Because yeah, Nico did say you were thinking of changing Meichiro, Anko. Curious at why she changed her name though. That's kind of an odd one too. I mean, why story-wise would they go through the trouble of having her change her name?
Why call herself Poop?
True. Ugu. Is it like poop and
No, Anko is Poop, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Anko's Poop. Maybe, I don't know.
What's it, Unchi?
Is it stink? I don't know. Isn't it Ugu? Ugu, isn't that ugly?
Or Anko is red bean paste.
What is Anko in Japanese? Anko refers to red bean paste.
Okay.
You're way off. What is it? What's poop then?
Unchi.
Unchi. And is it Ugu? Is it Ugu that's ugly? What does Ugu mean in Japanese?
Isu.
Is it Ugu Isu? No.
Ugu Isu.
Oh, her name. Yeah, her name. There's no standard. We're way off. Way off. Anyways, moving on before we make ourselves look more stupid. Anything else on that? Did you like that whole casual kiss? They start arguing in front of the school, and then suddenly she's don't worry, just chill out. And he's just like, okay, I guess we're moving on. It's just like, we're not going to talk about that. It's so freaking casual. Like, this girl literally blows up whenever there's anything romance related. She just throws a kiss on him just to shut him up. Okay, I'll take it. Whatever, fine then. And then we really cut into the whole like story of Meijiro, and it's like, okay, we're gonna get a kiss from Meijiro too. All right, just a whole bunch of kissing in this episode. I'll take it. That's fine. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it in the episode. I think the whole scene of Anko freaking going nuts and attacking Akihito was crazy. Dude, Hatsuka, like, straight up blocking the blade. And it's just like... I'm kind of interested to get into possibly each of them having sort of like a unique thing about them, like powers-wise. And like Hatsuka being like specifically able to sort of, I don't know, create transparency with their body or whatever. Like everything kind of just goes through the body whenever they get attacked. I don't know. That'd be cool to get at some point. Not that it's needed. Not that it's needed. I don't know. Because I think, what do we have left? We basically got Nakabra's. We got, we haven't had Hatsuka yet, have we? No, we haven't gotten a Hatsuka story. Midori's we technically finished. Nico we're kind of touching a little bit on, but we haven't got Nico's backstory yet. Seri, we haven't found her weakness, but we got Akihito's covered. So we have a lot of people that we can get into. Which again, I thought it was clever that they chose this as being a method of getting into those characters.
Yeah.
Forcing find their weakness, basically. Anyway, I think that's it. Again, it's I love the style. Music's still fantastic. I just love the aesthetic of the show. The aesthetic of the show has always been just absolutely beautiful. Love it. You want to talk about your new Saga show? Sell me on new Saga, because I didn't even touch this show. I just figured, like, I'm busy. Too much stuff right now. Some certain shows are going to have to get cut. This one got cut.
Okay, you remember why I told you that I was interested in trying this one, right? It was
similar to that other show that we watched that was decent.
It was decent, but it didn't pull off the whole redo the whole life thing.
Yeah,
this one's actually
being where like some disaster happens and then they go back in time and they can possibly stop it. Like 4 years back, did I say?
Yeah,
4 years back.
And he comes back with a stone or something like that, but which they said they were doing some kind of a magical spell and they sacrificed a whole bunch of people, and so it's got enough power to send somebody back. And so because he killed the Demon King, that spell triggered, and he got sent back instead of the Demon King, I guess. I don't know. Either way, the thing that I was most I really wanted to see was if this would pull off the whole reset without making it weird. And this one is doing it really well. He's going through and he's using his knowledge to his advantage, of course. He's not going, hey, I know all this to everybody. Instead, he just has these kind of these awkward situations here and there that he has to deal with. He's already had to face a let's just call him a rival, and
somebody else that was sent back.
No.
Oh.
Somebody that he had a bond with, but he was on the opposite side of a situation that he was trying to rectify. And so he ended up having to make a judgment call. And it affected him. I really give it props for going this route. So in all actuality, this is probably, out of the two so far, this one has it by far in spades. It's doing really well
compared to the last show that we watched that was like this. I forget what that was called. It was basically again guy with his party.
Yeah, they just did this.
They beat the bad guy, and the bad guy blew him up.
Yeah, this one he's still got he's not really OP. He's training constantly. He's got the sword, which does give him an OPness there. He's already faced lover quarrel situations because of one lover not being there and the other lover being there, and so he's kind of in this weird situation with that. So they're really kind of I think they're doing really good with this one. If anything, I would give it a shot if I was you. You might like it.
Maybe.
It's not perfect, but it's actually, I think it's doing good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Did you check out the Clavitas yet?
No.
Lord of Mysteries. Did you touch that at all? I'm actually liking Lord of Mysteries a lot. I don't want to get too great detail into this one, but I do think this is like one of those cases where it's like,
we got goth girls.
I hate the idea of Dali. I hate the idea of like with how much Japanese anime that we have to get into what they call danwa, to get into Chinese animation, so to speak. I hate the idea with how much we have to start to kind of feel my pull with that stuff as well. But I've already opened that door with To Be Hero X. Technically, To Be Hero X is Aniplex production, but this was like full on 100%, and I love it because yes, it's like a very well known and very beloved novel series, which is Lord of Mysteries, and so a lot of people were like super positive on it getting an anime adaptation. Then the other thing is that this show looks really, really incredible. And that is because they got a big, big Chinese company behind them. Could you possibly name what that company would be?
Probably,
starts with a T. Tencent. Tencent,
yeah.
yes. Tencent money. We have Tencent money. So the game, this entire thing is basically like in the levels of like an Ufotable. Like, this is the footable levels of visuals. It's just absolutely insane.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that I would probably say negative on the visuals is the fact that, like, it's CGI in a lot of cases a little bit too polished. Like, a CGI sometimes looks a little bit too polished. Like, one scene they had where there was this train going through this area, and it's like, it almost looked like claymation. Like, it looked too solid, like a claymation look. So I'm like, okay, there's times where it doesn't look great, but most of the time it looks incredible. Great character designs, look absolutely phenomenal. But the main thing here in the middle there is being the story. Like, I've been absolutely eating up this story. It is insanely concentrated. Like, they specifically said that they are trying to progress the story quickly. Like, they're increasing the pace of how fast they adapt to get to a certain point. They have already mapped out the entire adaptation. It will be being adapted over a period of 10 years. They've already gotten lined up 6 seasons and a movie. So apparently they're going full out with this thing. This is a very popular thing. They're putting a lot of money into it, and they're set on doing a full adaptation. The thing that I would sell you on it for being is this is an isekai story. The only weakness that I would probably say in the show so far is probably Klein, the main character, being a little bit too accepting of everything that happens. And I think that's probably because of them trying to pick up the pacing for the beginning parts. But what I love about it, and I think you would love too, is that this show is world and mechanics. They have like, essentially the whole concept here is a guy does a ritual because he's trying to better his luck or whatever. It ends up transmigrating him into another world, and he wakes up in the body of a guy named Klein, and Klein has a bullet wound to the head, and he has a gun in front of him. So it kind of in like this aspect of, wait, did the person that I just enter, did they shoot himself? Like, did they do this infliction? Did something cause them to inflict this pain or this wound upon him? I'm trying to carefully choose my words here. But in this world, there's what they know as Beyonders. Beyonders are people that drink these potions that will give them powers into one of many different pathways. They call them pathways. And the pathway starts at the lowest is sequence 9. And eventually he will drink that potion for Seer. So he'll be in the Seer pathway, sequence 9. That's where he starts out with being a Beyonder. And as you level up, basically, gain the knowledge of the next potion, you can then make the next formula to get the next sequence. And then it goes, so far he's been 9 as sequence Seer, and then 8 sequence is Clown. That's what he's currently at. And you just keep going up that. And as you get higher or lower number, the more powerful you get. It's a pathway towards the divine, basically. And there's all these different routes. So there are all these different trees that people can go up. He's going Seer. You have other ones like I forget what the lowest part. It was Mystery Prior. We haven't gotten here recently, but each one of them has their own things. Like there's the Midnight Poet, which is like they basically say poetry and it causes illusions. Dali, spirit medium, she's able to dive into people's minds. It's all these different things that they end up having, and they all sort of have their own abilities. And then you get in from there, you get into literally all the different orders that have been created over the years, different people that have come together to worship different gods. You have the original concept of creation is this idea of this creator essentially breaking themselves up in different parts and whatnot. Everybody believes in the past differently. They've implied there's a guy in the past that Klein's able to read his diary that everybody thought was encrypted, but it's actually simplified Chinese. So he's getting notes from a past king to get hints on what he should do in this life to essentially not do the same mistakes that guy did. It's just, there's so much stuff. Like, there's so much stuff. At some point, he ends up in this, like, he tries to do the ritual to go back, and he ends up in this fog dimension where it seems like he's able to control reality there, and somehow ends up summoning two individuals from the current world that he's in, and they think that he's a god because he appears to them as a god. And so now he's having them do things, and he's basically creating his own order and religion out of that. At some point, having them do a ritual that will deify him, basically. It's like, there's so much stuff in this show, and it's what I kind of eat up. But like I said earlier, I struggle a little bit because there is an element that there's too much happening. Again, that could be because of the pacing. So I'm hoping that stuff will settle down here soon. But I'm already tempted to jump in the novel. Like, I was supposed to buy it, and apparently they didn't want to put on my order, so I have to order it separately. But I would love to read it, especially the beginning segments here, just because they're kind of rushing through so much stuff, and there's some of it that I'm kind of wondering if I'm missing. But I've been loving watching it, despite it being Chinese. Despite it being 100% Chinese. They're doing a dub with it too, and I think I might rewatch it in dub just to see if it helps some of the stuff kind of solidify. Because there has already been quite a bit that people are pointing out that the translators have been kind of getting off with some of this stuff, which I understand sort of because of how much damn information's in each of the episodes. The action scenes are incredible too. I've loved a lot of the action scenes too. I think my favorite character so far is probably Azik. Azik's story was super good. He's like this guy.
Melissa?
Melissa's super cute, dude. Melissa is too freaking adorable, dude. I love the female designs in the show. My gosh, gorgeous character designs, like, overall.
I'm impressed with them, so.
Like, all the female designs are, like, phenomenal. But yeah, Melissa is bestest. Like, if Klein gets with anybody, it has to be with his sister, Melissa. She's too good. She's too cute. But, you sidetracked me. Azik's, like, my favorite character story-wise so far. Like, he's, like, the guy that apparently is undying, and he doesn't know it because he's trying to forget his past lives. He essentially, every time that it seems like a long period, he has moments where he goes into a sleep, and then when he wakes up from the sleep, he doesn't remember his past, but then he'll have dreams of past lives where, like, okay, the last time I had a dream, I was, living with this one family, and I had 2 children, and I was happy. This other time that I fell asleep, I dreamed this one time where I was in this big manor, and I had a wife and a child, and he was trying to train swordsmanship because he wanted to be a knight. Like, every time he sleeps, he dreams of these past lives where he had a family, and over time they just died, and he lived on. So, like, this whole tragic thing where this guy is undying, and he's experienced the loss of loved ones over and over again, and he's just stopped wanting to love. It was a cool little story there. And it seems like he's, like, I am predicting probably sequence 4 or 3. He's going to be way up there. And this is, to give you an idea, this is like soul leveling-ish. Like the level is insane jump. Like, when he went from 9 to 8, he's seen a significant strength increase. So, like, 7, 6, you're getting closer and closer to godliness, basically. So I would assume getting to, like, 1 or 0, you're basically becoming a god. So it's kind of interesting to see how high he gets. I'm assuming that'll be in, like, I don't know, season 6. So it's probably not anytime soon. We'll find out in I think it's like 2035 probably. Gosh dang, dude. 10 years of an anime. I mean, It's so funny because it's like, yeah, if you think about it, with anything being adapted, you would assume that if it's going to be a full adaptation, yeah, it's going to end up like ReZero. I would assume that eventually it's going to get up there and like, 2036 or something like that. We're going to get like way later seasons. But it's just like seeing them actually put out a schedule. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be covering this show for 10 years. I don't know if I'm ready for this. It doesn't hit you until you see a schedule. I'm going to be watching this for 10 years. Do I want to keep watching this show? Yes. It's good stuff, though. I really love it. But you have to be ready.
Episodes.
You have to be ready for it. If they, I guess it depends on if they're going to be doing a single core with every single season. Yeah. They are 34 minutes each. They are longer episodes.
Oh yeah,
longer episodes. What would that be equivalent to? 13 times wrong. 34. They're looking at right now about a season and a half worth of time. Like 18 minutes ish per 18 episodes per season. Again, if they do a single core every time. Anyways, I would highly suggest you watching it. Now, putting that aside, my gushing over the show that I'm really enjoying it. I think again, it's world building and mechanics that I eat up. The only negative I would give, if I thought with Chris Brain, I like the characters, but I wish there was more. You are more a stickler of you want really good characters. Mm-hmm. And I feel like so far I don't feel like we're getting so much in these characters. Azix, we got really into his character. But other than him, we really haven't met anybody. Neil, he's a character. He's a fun guy to be around. But they didn't really do well enough with kind of like humanizing really anybody else. I love Dunn, the commander. Dunn is a badass whenever he's on the screen.
I mean,
but it's not like we have like a scene where they go to the mall together and you find out that Leonard has a thing about brushing his teeth 3 times a day.
Let me ask you a silly question. This kind of comes off to me like Highlander. No. There can be only one type thing?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's a bunch of people with superpowers, and he joins an organization of detectives to stop people that use those superpower bad, and for people that become lost. Because Beyonders can lose their minds and transform into monsters. Okay. So you have to go finish them off. And there's other secret orders that have their own sequence potions that they utilize for their own purposes. Right. So it's like organizations versus organization. He's part of a detective agency. Anyways, there's a cool thing that they get into, especially with the last episode, that it almost feels like even their organization is purposely not wanting them to go up in sequence. So it's almost an element where it almost feels like the organization doesn't want them to get too powerful because, again, you're getting closer to godliness. So they don't want people to progress that fast.
You can't control.
Yep. They want to control how powerful you get, basically.
Because if you lose your mind when you're too powerful.
The assassins were cool. I like the assassin sequence. Because at some point, they get this guy that, I forget what the sequence, what his thing was called. But he was essentially, it was Trissy. Do I have Trissy written down here? I don't have Trissy written. Essentially, there was a guy that his sequence, what they're known for with his particular level is that they manipulate people. They have the ability to manipulate people. So this whole incident where this boat, all the people on it went crazy and started killing each other. And they portrayed it on this stage as this incident where this siren's call was causing the men to go crazy. And one man stood above them all to help save the remaining people on the ship. And they were hailed as a hero. Well, eventually find out that he was causing the whole thing. He was manipulating everybody with his ability. And he gets an offer to essentially finish this one other job they had by giving him the next level in sequence. And sure enough, he takes it. At the same time that they're kind of showing him kind of working in the background for his job for that organization that he was with, over here, Klein and them are kind of finding out about like how, yeah, this organization, this order itself, they particularly have this pathway. And at some point, for some reason, all the higher ups they're They're mostly female. It's like mostly female run pathway or order, and they have this pathway. Well, sure enough, the next sequence that he gets is witch. And so when he takes the next potion, it literally turns him into a female. So that's why everybody high up in the pathway for this order, they're all female, because at some point when they get that sequence, it transforms them into a female. And so he becomes Trissy. And he's an assassin. And like the assassin's abilities were super cool, dude. Like the fight against Trissy was like easily like the best fight they had in the show so far. It was super good. Anyways, it's cool. Like I said, I love. It's like it's one of those shows where I want to make like I have to make like an entire document, because yes, I can easily probably look up on Google and find like, you know, what all the sequences are and everything, but it is one of those ones where I have to make like a diagram that says, okay, yeah, this pathway is seer, clown, this one is nightmare, spirit medium, mystery prior. Like there's so many freaking pathways and so many different sequences. What the abilities they give them, seemingly, it's crazy. There's so much stuff in the show. Anyways, that's my Donwa review of Lord of Mystery so far. We're already episode 9 right now, so we only got like, what, 4 more episodes? It's getting close. It's getting close. I was shocked to find out that you have not been watching Nukitashi, which makes sense because it's kind of, it's over in this area over here with this new Oceanvale service, and if you don't do Oceanvale, you have to find it elsewhere. But you are watching this. Like I said before, you are watching Takopi's Original Sin, no matter what, for the end of the year. But the second one is Nukitashi, because Nukitashi is like the epitome of everything that society does not want us to have. It's there. Like I joke about before, several times before, it is the reverse of Shimonetta. You love Shimonetta, right?
Right.
It's the reverse. You have to be lewd.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've absolutely been loving this show. Thankfully, Passionone has been doing a pretty good job with it, even though it's like a straight up ecchi mess.
Well, Passione is big on ecchi, so
yeah. But no, it's been fantastic. The idea here, for those that don't know, it's an island where they have the perverted law, which requires people to just bang. You have to. And if you have to allow people, if they ask, you have to allow them. You can't do it by yourself. You have to do it with somebody else. And it's open season. Everything's happening. They're left and right. Just literally every time the characters are walking down the street, it's just everybody everywhere is all over the street just banging. It's just constantly happening. But the idea here is the guy has like a massively traumatizing experience from his past where it's kind of like Rudius kind of thing, where they pantsed him down and they seen that his thing was really huge. And so they made fun of the fact of how huge he was. And so now he can't get it up around other people. So he's been traumatized. But additionally, he doesn't like the idea of loveless sex. So he doesn't like the idea that everybody's being forced around him to do it. Like they even have this whole like opening sequence in episode 1 where, because these two were a couple and they weren't banging other people, they wanted to keep to each other. That's against the law. And so they literally put them on what they call the guillotine, which forces the guy to have to come up into somebody and his girlfriend to come down on some dude. So it's like the most screwed up,
like
messed
some kind
up,
of weird messed up cuckold thing.
Yeah, it's insane. like at some point there's one character called Hinami, and her whole deal is that she's a loli. Like she's very petite. And so nobody touches her. She's like, she doesn't want to be her conflict is that she doesn't want to be a bad girl because she's supposed to bang other people, and she feels like she's a bad girl because nobody will bang her, and thus she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. And at some point she ends up like, she's practicing, and she goes to this one park where
practicing.
Yeah, there's this park where there's like a little toy parked pony thing, and she's jumping around on that practicing. And then she goes to go home, and this random, like, massively chubby H character guy shows up out of nowhere, and he's in a diaper, and he's like, I'm a 4-year-old, or a 4th grader, or a 4-year-old, something like that. I think he said 4-year-old. I'm a 4-year-old, and we should do it because I read in a book how to do it. And she's, like, panicking because she wants to do it because she's supposed to, because she doesn't want to be a bad girl. But at the same time, she's always, like, dreamed of that great experience that she always read of in lolly mangas. She reads lolly mangas to show that she could actually do it. But she doesn't want that experience. She wanted like in the manga. And so she started freaking out. And these people show up. Junosuke, our main character, shows up as the anti-compilation group that they've created in order to fight back against the perverted law. They show up to save Hanami from this guy. Kicks him off of him and everything. And the actual student council that is trying to work with the show, which is the health organization that has forced them to have this law, they show up at the same time. And so you have this chubby guy, you have poor Hinami right here was attacked by him, you have the anti-copulation group, and then you have the FS, which is the pro-copulation, basically. They're all like this four-way thing here. And so Junosuke's saying, you can't force yourself upon Hanami because that's wrong, obviously. Then you have the FS groups going, you were attacking a lolly, which is against the law, because thankfully, at least, in this town, you can't touch underage kids. So they assume Hanami's an underage kid, and so they're like, you can't do that, guy. We're going to arrest you. And then Hanami's over there going, but I'm actually of legal age. This is my school idea. I'm not a lolly. And then the FS goes, okay, well, then you could do it. And I'm like, no, you almost had it. The guy is still a creeper adult. It's so weird. The whole show is weird. No, I showed Chris this, so it's not spoiler already, but like the most absurd moment that the show's had so far is Shinosuke getting jumped by this chick that is obsessed with finding the perfect unit. And she dumps him. And while he's like essentially being forced upon, he at some point she got him to work, like, because he didn't think it was going to work. It starts working, and he starts thinking, okay, now I'm going to be forced upon all the time now, and lose all my dignity, and this upsets him. But now nowhere he realizes that no, I'm not going to be alone, because unlike back when I was younger and I was bullied and everything, I now have, all these people from the anti-copulation group that is now supporting him. And then out of nowhere, he starts growing. And growing, and the chick's like, it's still growing, and then he proceeds to go just crazy on her, and then it gets so big it shoots her off of it, and she flies off, and she's going, I found the one of my dreams, and then she gets hit by a truck. It's just like, okay, the show's so stupid, it's not funny, I love it. It is disgusting and hilarious at the same time, so I love it so far. It's everything I was hoping it would be.
So this is the show that you were hoping that so and so's chin chin is broken was gonna be.
His chin chin's broken.
His world is broken, or something like that. The one where dudes, and then it censored the thing.
Oh, Watari-kun's bleep is about to collapse?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I really wasn't sure what that whole thing was going to be. But I found out when I have my ideas of what that was going to be, but it's crazy. Yeah, the theme park was funny. Like the moment they show up there, there's this mascot duck welcoming the guys in there, and they just suddenly go, he's like, do you want handshakes? And they're like, no, we just want to bang it. They just jump on the duck and they start banging the duck. Like, it's whatever can be banged in this world, it will be banged.
I'm going to say this.
What?
You sold.
Because the duck got banged?
Yeah, just the absurdity of everything you've told me so far.
Because the duck got banged. Well, I was thinking, dude, I think like
the duck was just the icing on the cake. It was like, okay, yeah.
Well, that's like the whole situation with them trying to get into the FS office, and like, there was this whole segment where he's trying to distract one of the student council members because the other girl was going into there to, plug this USB device into the computer. And so he's trying to distract her. So he immediately comes out of nowhere and says, hey, I want to have sex. She's like, no, I'm busy right now. He's like, oh, so does that mean those student council members don't have to actually follow the law? And she's like, no, fine then. And she goes to take off her top. He's like, oh, what are you doing? Put that away. She's like, what the hell are you talking about? Whatever, get out of my way. And he starts leaving. He's like, and then he goes, I got to stop her still. Hey. And he starts talking for his wiener. He starts talking in first person as his junk. And she's like, why are you talking in first person for your junk? And she's like, why are you acting like you're a royalty? And he's like, what, you're saying that my junk is royalty? And she's like, what are you talking about? Why are you talking like you're royalty? It was so absurd. And like I was pointing out to Chris, I showed him the clip. Afterwards, after finally the girl gets done getting the information, she comes back out. They're like, okay, good, let's get out of here. They leave, and he confronts her to ask her for the USB device back that she was plugging into the computer. And she goes, oh, hold on a second. And she has to pull it out of her butt. The USB device was shaped like a toy. And so she just shoves it in there so that it can hide it away. And she put it all the way in there so that they wouldn't find it. And so she pulls it out, and he's like, wow, you had to put that whole thing in there? And she's like, yeah, it's fine, though, because I one time when I was younger, I had to go to the doctor because I got a whole Bisoujo figurine stuck in my... And he's like, well, what happened? And she's like, well, the doctor said that he never wants to see a Bisoujo figure ever again. And the guy's like, no, I mean what happened in the office. It's like, oh, okay. I'm like, no, I have so many questions. Go back. It's crazy. Anyways, it's stupid. I love it. It's fun. Nothing is off limits with this show. It's that goofy. Anyways, that's Nukitashi. I like it. But yeah, like I said earlier, I think you should definitely watch Takopi's Original Sin. I definitely think that Takopi's Original Sin is... I'll have to figure out how high it's going to go in my anime of all time. I want to, just as a, gun to my head, where would you place it? It very well could be at least in top 20 of anime of all time for me. It is a perfect 10 out of 10 show for me. It's not a perfect show. Nah. I think it's a perfect show. Like, I don't necessarily think that there's anything in it where I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot this part. I really wish was not like this. It told the story that it was telling in a way that I think was perfect. First of all, visually, show is gorgeous. The manga has a very unique design to it and style to it, and I think they completely captured that style to it. And the animation was so fluid. The characters' expressions and liveliness of the characters phenomenal, and directing was just chef kiss. Like, so many moments of the story is portrayed in a way that is more impactful and more expressive with the artistic design they've done for it. Good example. At some point, they're trying to hide a secret, and that secret is coming to the public. And one of the characters, as they're in classroom and the police are there, starts panicking that they think they're going to get caught. And there's a shot where the perspective is looking up at his face as he's sitting on the desk, and everything around him is almost fish-eyed around him to get this looming idea that he's just don't look at me kind of feel. Like, it gives a feel like, please, nobody ask, don't talk to me, don't ask me questions, please don't notice me kind of thing. There was another scene later on where there was these two characters in this hallway, and one is going to leave, and the other one stops them. And it goes through this whole process where they internalize this idea that they're getting in trouble, and the other person's coming up at them and bearing down upon them, grabbing them by the shoulders, and the arms almost get like a little contortion to it, like they almost like alien-esque. This feeling of somebody being mad at them and calling them like, you're a failure of the family and everything is just crumbling around them. There's so many like very just artistically beautiful shots in the show. But at its core, an incredible story. Well, I wouldn't say incredible. It's a story that I think overall is sort of simple. It's a simple story because it's the idea of an alien that is from a planet of happiness that they go out regularly to other planets to spread the happiness. And so they come to a planet with their little happy gadgets, and they use the happy gadgets to bring happiness to the people of those worlds. And we have this alien arrives on Earth, ends up meeting a girl named Shizuka. And Shizuka gives him some food because he's starving, because he's fleeing from some, like animal catchers or something, somebody trying to catch him. And she feeds him, and in order to thank her, he's like, well, I'm here to spread happiness. Here, look at all my gadgets. Let's use my magic to make you happy. And she's like, no, I don't believe in magic. And she goes to leave. What we kind of find out is that Shizuka is extremely bullied. Like, there's this girl at her class named Marina that physically beats the crap out of her regularly. She doesn't have anybody at her home. Shizuka, when she goes at home, there's nobody there. The only thing that she has is her dog, Chappie, which is a dog that her father left behind before he left. Her mother is never at home because she's working as an escort. But yeah, she's being bullied. She has nobody at home, nobody to guide her, nobody to take care of her. And when she's at school, she's being bullied. So this girl has nothing. except for her dog. Well, we find out more about Marina, which is the one that's bullying her, and her reasoning for bullying the crap out of Shizuka, as we find out when she goes home, is the fact that when she goes home, she finds that her family is completely a mess. Her mother is abusive, like extremely abusive to her, and it all seems to stem from the fact that her father is wasting all of his money and having an affair with the mother, with Shizuka's mom. So in Marina's child mind, her third grader mind, Shizuka and her family is the cause of her family falling apart. And that's why she bullies Shizuka. She wants Shizuka to disappear. She wants Shizuka's family to disappear so that she can have her family back. So it kind of turns this whole thing where it's like there's the bully, there's the Shizuka obviously who's being bullied and has nothing in her life. And you have Marina who's bullying her and is being abused and bullied by her mother. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, hurt people hurt people. That's literally the concept of the story. And it does it so well. Like, again, it's seemingly a simple idea. It's a chain of events where these children are being destroyed, or lives are being destroyed by just the horrible parents they have. But at the same time, it is also kind of a look into sort of deeper elements of manipulation and abuse and all what that stuff does to people. What bullying itself does to people. All that stuff is just so well done. Like I said before, it's easily currently anime of the year for me. I don't know yet. I mean, what else do we have left for this year? I don't think there's really anything in fall. The big ones this year so far has been Apothecary Diaries, Apocalypse Hotel. Am I missing anything else? What else was big in this year?
I don't know. Not without the list in front of me.
You're not going to help me out here at all. I guess I could just look at Annie chart real quick. I mean, granted, mostly what's on the top of Annie charts, typically not my picks. Damn it, Annie chart's already showing next year for winter. No, not yet. Not yet. Soul Leveling Season 2, I forgot, Chris. Never mind. Sorry, Takopi's Original Sin. Soul Leveling Season 2 aired. I forgot.
Soul Leveling is the greatest ever.
It is the...
It is the GOAT.
I'm joking, by the way. Calm down, people. You're getting ready. They're diving it. Actually, it's not that great. I mean, it's going to be Anime of the Year for Crunchyroll. We already know that. I mean, if Season 1 won, Season 2 is going to win, so... where is the archive? I thought that was it. Winter 2020. Where's 2025? I thought I was selecting 2025. They don't list 2025 anywhere. Any chart. Oh, that's right. Behemoth Dakedo. Damn. Yeah, we only had Soul Leveling, Apocalypse Hotel, 100 Girlfriends, Really Love You. Season 2 wasn't, like, incredible, so it's definitely not going to beat Takopi. Gosh, winter was... Am I missing something? Winter wasn't that great. Spring was okay, if I recall correctly. No, it wasn't. Kowloon, no. God, this year is literally winter. Or summer. This year is literally summer. This year is literally summer. And yeah, fall, I don't think there's really anything super huge. Which we'll get into like in a couple weeks. I know there's some stuff here that I'm looking at. Some people are going to go like, well, what about that? No, I don't think any of this would be in that category. So it's probably going to be... I would venture to guess it might end up being Takopi. It might end up being Takopi. I mean, Apocalypse Hotel... Not Apocalypse Hotel as well, but Apothecary Diaries... It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle. Anyways, that's my please go watch Takopi's. I made a full-on video. I don't like to say this on podcasts, but I made a whole-on video about Takopi's Original Sin, my final review. Yes, I warned in there that I get pretty spoilery on some of this stuff, but I don't go like past like episode 2 or 3. Besides kind of alluding to subject matters, but I did a full video on it, and I recommend people checking it out. I had to make a full script. I'm like, I don't want to mess up anything, so I'm making a full-on script, and I hate using scripts. But Chris, To Be Hero X.
Okay.
How has things been with To Be Hero X? Last time we talked about To Be Hero X, we just got done with Lucky, Cyan, and Queen, right?
Yes.
We did. They were going on vacation. That's how long this current arc has been. I mean, technically a month since we talked about it. I think we talked about it last podcast, right?
Yeah.
Because we were doing our reviews. So it's technically been like, 4 weeks since then, but still like four episodes just to finally get what they seen when they were driving. Because this is literally the arc that we've been watching since between these two podcasts. So what'd you think of this arc?
No, we had gotten we got into Ghostblade. I want to say that you were an episode ahead of me on Ghostblade.
That's right, because it was Ghostblade's story about that I said was gonna be very difficult for you to watch because it was about Ghostblade and his.
What made me mad was that I completely forgot, never put Johnny's dad as the one that Ghostblade was taking out.
There was no indication until they showed Johnny's backstory.
Yeah, was like
the moment that dad walks in the
God,
door. It's
that
like,
was so him.
It didn't dawn on me until I think it was the point in which I said it in my video, so I could be wrong here, and somebody can correct me. I love that I have like literally a diary that says what I actually say. I think it was the point where he came in and she was dying that it clicked for me finally. Like, oh, that's the dad. Shoot. No. Now they're all chummy in this Jeep, and that's dad's killer. Yeah.
It took me a little bit longer to piece it together. I want to say that it was when they were at the campsite. Mm-hmm. And there was something that triggered it, and I was like, "Oh my God, that was the dad," and then sure enough, that's when Johnny starts chasing it down and all that stuff, and it was like, crap, because I think it had something to do with the when he was chasing the DJ guy,
Shindig,
Shindig, and it was like, oh crap. And I put 2 and 2 together at some point, and it was just before they started doing the whole illusion thing. But yeah, that was fun. So, here's my question. We have got a 0. What do you think we are doing as far as because obviously, I mean, we're in this kind of.
By the way, spoilers.
Finally, I assumed we were already in there. I'm sorry.
We're like 20 episodes in at this point. Y'all getting spoilers at this point.
Are we merging
it's not really.
Do you think we're merging?
Is it really a show where like, oh my gosh, I got that spoil for me? It's not really. It's like one of those shows where it's the experience, really. Anyway,
do you think we're merging the timelines now?
Well, yeah. We literally went to episode 1 right there. At the end of the last episode. Episode 20 went to episode 1.
That was kind of that ending. Was that the kind of, okay, this is what we're doing. We're collapsing everything. Now we're going to get into the real story.
Yeah, well,
because I was surprised to see.
I wouldn't say the real story, but it was more of an idea of episode 1 starts from, what was it, 41, year 41, and then it plays out Nice's fall and Lin Ling becoming Nice, and then literally we go back to Isol, and then we built all the way back into 41, and now it's, I think really what I sort of gathered the moment that hit Lin Ling again, and we see Lin Ling and he's sitting there working on the computer to make the little ads for Moon and Nice. What I felt like right there was like, okay, yes, this whole thing going back was to introduce all these characters and why they're important for the now. But I think the deeper thing that I got was an understanding of the organizations. Because what I wasn't getting with Lin Ling's story was a true sense of everything that sort of has fabricated these characters. Even when we got into Isol stuff, like I just was like, MG? Who the hell what's an MG? Who does Isol work for? What? Now I have a full grasp with coming into Like I almost feel like I want to rewatch at least Nice's episodes again, like the first 3 or 4 episodes. I think it was 4 episodes, 3 episodes. Those first 3 or 4 episodes, just because now I understand a lot. Like for example, I always assumed that Moon was killed by Isol because they wanted to cover up the fact that she was still alive. Because again, Enlighter came out of nowhere, made a puppet that looked like her, but that was like to the big heads. Oh crap, did they actually capture her? We should never let her get out of here. That's a big, massive hit to Nice's reputation. Okay, it was a fake killer. We can't have this happen again. Any possibility of this happening again. And so I figured Shang, who was leading his group for Nice, I figured Shang hired Isol to go kill her. Now we know that Isol doesn't work for Shang. Isol works for Rock with MG. So I'm like, well, now I'm wondering, now that we've got all this backstory, I'm wondering, well, then why did Rock send Isol to kill Moon? How did he know that Moon was alive? How do you know where Moon was? Okay, maybe he was going to kill Lin Ling, and he went to the portal with Lin Ling when he went to go see Moon, and then he decided to off Moon for some reason. I don't know why he would off Moon right there and not off Lin Ling, because Lin Ling's more dangerous, more of a threat. But again, like finally having that insight to all that stuff, it's like, okay, now I'm like more questioning a lot of the politics, because that's what the show's really turned into. It's very political. Like it's very business political. These groups, these corporations are just, they're playing with lives. They're puppeteering weapons, basically. I will say though, with this, I was already kind of shaky with Isol. Technically Yang. I want Isol dead. I really hope that they kill him soon. I really don't like Isol. I don't think he's redeemable at this point. He is such a puppet. He is such a puppet. And he's playing right into Rock, which I kind of feel like, I feel like they're at least doing well enough to explain why people do what they do. It feels like Rock does not like the Commission. And obviously finding out about Zero, we know why. Because probably the Commission sent... The Commission was probably formed after the heroes came together to kill Zero.
Probably.
Now, I meant to go back there. I don't know if they specifically were implying that his father was Zero, or if he created Zero. I want to say they were implying that he created Zero. It could be both, I think. It's important to know, because if he was Zero, that means that his father was killed, versus just a symbol that his father created was killed. I think it's probably implying that he was his dad. His dad was Zero. I don't know. I hate this. I hate every one of them. Mickey, I hate Rock. I hate Zach. I don't care about it. I don't care about Zach. I wanted to like Shang because I felt bad for him and his son. But now he's making feared junkies, which I think one of those is Isol. I don't know if you noticed that.
One of the fear,
the thing that's in the chamber, because he went to his son's place that he was, building Isol out of. He went there and he made a chamber thing, and the thing that's in the chamber is missing an arm and a leg.
Oh, really?
Same arm that Isol didn't have. Question that you might understand. When they started talking about Zero, I felt that it was conveniently showing Isol mimicking his movements. Like it shows Isol and he's walking towards, I think it was little Johnny at the time. And then it was like, it faded over to show Rock and he's walking towards his little secret chamber. It almost felt like they were trying to parallel the two selves as being one thing. But at some point, Isol, or Ghostblade stabs Isol's hand. And he doesn't react to it. And instead just shocks him.
Right.
They never implied Yang lost his arm. Unless he lost it during the battle with Isol. But now it's showing that he doesn't have an arm. That's...
No. This is the old Isol.
Mm-mm.
It should have been the old Isol.
The old Isol was not working for Rock. Rock made the new Isol. And then he started working for Rock.
Right. He was the old Isol was working for the other guy.
The old Isol...
Because that was what the whole bar scene was, wasn't it?
Who was the old East Soul working for? I don't think that was a named company, was it? Or was it Tree Man? No, Tree Man was what Shang made now. But no, like I said, that's where Shang is literally working out of the place that his son bought. The place where his son was killed is right in front of the place that Shang is now building fear monkeys.
I was under the impression that this was the fight that caused the injuries to Isol. That's where I was going.
Oh no.
Because no, I didn't get confirmation on it. That's what I was figuring was going to happen. This was the answer to how he got those injuries. But the fight itself, I was very much under the impression this was the old Isol, and that's the old Nice.
Oh yeah, that was definitely the old Nice. That was definitely old Nice
because again, I was figuring
Nice dies in 41.
This was going to cause Nice to go on his boss's bad side, and this was probably going to cause his downward spiral, which was eventually going to lead to his self-deletion.
Yeah, so in 36, that's when fight between the two East Souls happens. And then in 39, that's when the Glimmer Lab was attacked, which was before this. This should be the new East Soul. And like I said, it makes sense because, again, Yang becoming East Soul's story arc, how did it end? He signed up with Rock. And then Rock revealed that he was not a hot dog stand seller, but in fact the new owner of MG and left FOMO behind. He literally manipulated him. But my whole point there was that, yeah, why does he have a missing arm? Is it because people believe that Yang is East Soul and thus his body literally... But it's not that people knew publicly that East Soul had a missing arm. It felt like he was just removing it whenever he's working out, whenever he's alone. But it makes me believe that he's doing something to Yang. Like, he's messing with Yang. And I'm kind of wondering if he's trying to make Yang into Zero. Either way, even if you're confused with that or not, do you think he's recreating Zero in East Soul? Or do you think he will do similar to what he did with East Soul with Zero? Because how did he create the new East Soul? He turned Yang into East Soul. How can he make a new Zero? Make somebody appear to be Zero, and thus they become Zero. Just like how they did with Lin Ling and Nice. They dressed him up to look like Nice, and he became Nice.
Doesn't he look like Zero? Or because I don't think we've
ever seen him. So
yeah, I think they just showed the bottom of his mouth or something. I don't know. I would think that he would be trying to make himself fit into that category so he could touch God.
Could be. Yeah,
because that was the whole thing. That's why they had to take him down, because he had touched God or something like that, right?
Yeah. Well, no, he was so powerful, he was the only one to touch God. What his downfall is that at some point he accidentally killed a hero, and everybody immediately turned to fear. Because this guy that was protecting them all the time, they were worshiping him. Finally, out of nowhere, he killed somebody that was pure, or a hero. You assume that they're a good person. And that instilled fear upon people, and that spread like a wildfire. And then they implied the idea that he became the god of death. Which that makes me wonder if, just like with, the trust value, creating sort of an oddity to each individual, like, again, perfection with Nice or whatever, I wonder if people's fear of him manipulated him to become different. Like, they were afraid of him because he killed somebody, and thus he became this. He became cursed with wanting to kill. I wonder if it's that same aspect of, the perfection curse or whatever, just being in death itself, and thus he started killing people. It kind of implied that was sort of the birth of fear, which would make sense if they became so powerful that they were godlike, and then they embodied fear, and thus fear came from that. They said something effective like, from that day on, like, fear lives inside people or something like that, ready to spark out.
Yeah.
Which implies the fear aspect that people are now creating. It's interesting. I like I said before, I think, like, what has been sort of fascinating to me is the trust values, the mechanics of the trust value, the curses that come from the trust value. Surprised to see that we didn't get into Johnny's. I was half expecting at least this episode 20 was going to have a reveal of what he can do. They haven't shown.
No, they've only implied that he can control Big Johnny, or yeah, Ta-chan.
Yeah, I think that's what people believe. I think that's what the public believes, is he has the ability to talk to animals and that he can control, but it's just he's his dad. And like that literally is it. I was half expecting him to have the same powers as his father because, again, what does everybody see when they see the son of Sheng? Oh, he's going to be able to heal just like Sheng did. No, they still haven't showed really anything. And now only now he's going, I need to train because he was completely useless.
They've been very, very rigid with the rule. The rule is whatever they are perceived to have powers of.
Yep.
And so that's why I say his power
is cuteness.
His power is to control Big Johnny. So now the perception,
which literally
also
never happens because Big Johnny keeps running off and he goes, "Wait, come back here, Big Johnny."
I was getting ready to say the perception, however, if you get down to the nitty-gritty, is that Big Johnny is really, really strong and uncontrollable. So that perception could be skewing his power, which by all accounts, his power is that he can control Big Johnny.
The thing is that I'm hoping for is that it still ends up being, because again, what I was saying back when his episode happened, when we find out that the father died and Big Johnny went crazy and he beat the crap out of Vartex, and then the news was spreading that this boy, who ends up being the son of Sheng, came forward and stopped him. So what they were saying after then would be the point in which his value starts going up. The moment the news hits that he stopped that thing, the value starts going up. He even showed it when he was at the cabin and suddenly it's going up. The things that would be perceived there would be, the news was reporting and they were asking, do you have the ability to heal like your father? Have you always been able to talk to animals? And there was something else, I forget what it was. But those are like the main two things there. I'm hoping it's healing and he has the same power as his father, he just doesn't know that he can do it yet. And I was totally thinking it was going to happen with Ghostblade getting hurt. I thought he was going to go over there and go like, no, Ghostblade, no. And then the healing's going to activate. And he's going, oh, I have the healing capability. I'm hoping he has healing for No. He's got to save No. Loli's girlfriend is not doing good. And she needs to be able to save Loli's girlfriend. I'm happy. I'm just at least happy that she made it out of there. I knew Lou was going to die. Her going crazy, though. Loli going crazy, though. She went brutal, like feral mode the moment her dad died. Started going freaking nuts on. I don't know who those dudes were.
They were. I thought they were the fear junkies you were talking about.
Yeah, like Mickey's dudes.
Yeah,
like with the shindig.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of assume. But she got like went nuts there. I love that whole shot where she like jumps on the back of Nice, and he's trying to get her off, and then she like ejects her upper like breastplate, and it blows up, and then she grabs the helmet, just thunk her over the freaking head, dude. Now, granted, he's like, they imply that I think he's like in the teens at least. Like I think when Lin Ling took over, I think he was in the teens. He was trying to still get in tens. Obviously, Shang was getting rid of him. But damn, that girl, like, even without, she has no trust. She legit has no trust. No trust value. Well, she probably has like a small
2 or 3,
bit,
which that bit. can make a huge difference in as far as they've implied so far.
Yeah, they've implied that she has no power, no ability. She's literally just in a suit that makes her impervious to trust and fear. So like she literally is without power, taking a helmet of like kryptonite basically and slapping it over Superman's face is basically what it's kind of implying there. But I mean, I like that at least even with Shindig, it implied the idea that she's not affected by like the powers, like a spell or something like that. But brute, like an actual impact still hurts her. So the only thing that Nice can really do is just beat the crap out of her. It still hurts her. But like, and I noticed that with Big Johnny too. Big Johnny was not affected by Vortex's abilities.
he was affected by physical objects that were thrown at him from his abilities. Because at some point, Vortex is like, all right, fine then, whatever. Because he was wanting to capture him to use him as an experiment. He's like, yeah, whatever. And he goes to try to crush him into nothingness. When he did the whole like tome with the rocks, he was crushing him. But then he breaks out of it and he goes, fine then, I will just crush you into nothingness. And he does this whole kind of thing like he's going to crush him to nothingness. And then nothing happened. So it implies the idea that like the ability wouldn't do anything, but physical objects can still work. So I like that kind of consistency they're keeping there with that whole ability. But what was I saying? Queen. She was aura farming. She was aura farming. I'm sorry. That girl was aura farming. I was waiting for them to show up eventually. And like we knew that was coming because, again, they were on vacation. They seen Johnny pop up. But like you had, the busting out of there. And you had like, again, Isol's like not even answering nice. He's like, I gotta fight this thing. He goes charging back in there. And then Lolly's like going up there to go like do some 300 jump and going ready to kind of dunk right on his face with the helmet again. And then suddenly just... I'm like, oh my god, girl. Well, no, it zoomed out to her legs first.
I was actually really thrilled because when I first seen that scene, I was expecting that this was going to be the reveal of Zero, and no, it was heels. Zero has heels.
You thought that was Zero?
Oh, it's my girl. She's come in to set things straight. I can go with it.
She just walks. Not even in a hurry. Just walks. Goes right by Nice. Looking down on him. And you know that set him off. You know he did not like that. Because they're implying Nice has a massive ego. And it's the perfection thing. Mm-hmm. He's perfect. He's failing right now. And she's like... It's like I could... If eyes could say something, it's literally... Children... Go home. I'll handle this. Goes up there. No. Meh. It's like a total like no down boy. You know it's me. You know it. And it's so funny because we're so... Again, that's like what? 5 episodes since we've seen Queen and Johnny and them together? It's been so long. It feels like so long. But yeah, like all the... Like literally why she met Johnny... was through Big Johnny. She thought he was adorable. And so he's like, you want to come to my place and hang out? She literally goes to little Johnny's home or his apartment to hang out with Big Johnny. So she's always there with Big Johnny and is just petting him all the time. He knows exactly who she is. And so, yeah, the moment she's like, Johnny, it's me. And suddenly, like, the eye just changed immediately. I'm like, yeah. Girl's like, nope. Stop, boy. But yeah, then, like, Cyan just popping up in there and... That was interesting. So she used her ability to like basically lift like all the debris up, and then Cyan goes rushing in there and like just sprays like lucky spray down so that it makes like a lucky area where nothing would fall on it.
I'm thinking
that was interesting. But now I was like, the biggest kick that I got out of that whole situation was that again you had literally everybody going nuts on each other, fighting left and right. This massive Pokemon pops up out of nowhere, and then just Queen just comes in. And then these 2 girls just handle the situation in 2 seconds. Like, again, like, the 2 girls that were going on vacation just drop by and just, like, fix the whole situation and stop the fighting. Now, it is weird that her showing up, and I guess the idea here is that Nice is like, oh, damn, she's here and she's much more powerful than me, and that she basically just told me to get the hell out of here. Like, her showing up and stopping him, that was a flex. That was a, yeah, you're stopping now. And so the moment that she releases him, he's like, okay, I'm getting out of here. That's all I can think of. Her being so high up, because she's technically at that point number 2. I mean, they were implying that she was going down when she was trying to recuperate and she wanted to get back up on her feet and get ready for the next tournament. She was going to try to for a rematch with X, obviously. But I would assume that she's probably still at the top 5. So her showing up there, I don't know what Isol was at. He's 9 after this incident. I don't know what he was before the incident. But I would no matter what, I would come to the assumption that her arriving there as, again, a top 5 and stopping the situation, it's a clear message to get out of here because you're not going to take her on. That's the only reason I can think of why they all stop. Now, why that stops Loli, the only answer I have there is if Nice leaves, Loli probably calms the hell down. But it was overall like that was a whole crazy situation. I was a little bit disappointed in the earlier segments because it was so much build up to this fight, and it felt like the whole like fight between Loli and Nice. It wasn't as impressive as I was hoping it would be. Like it still had some cool stuff in it, like the whole like gauntlet throwing him around and stuff. But I was looking for more, and the fight between like Ghostblade and East Soul kind of just came down to more swiping and gas bombs and stab in the hand before a shock. But once Loli went crazy, I love that whole segment was really cool. So yeah,
I still like Queen's power, just absolute control. It's so her.
Well, like I said, the whole fight with her and Boa was like great because it kind of showed how flexible that is. Because you assume like it's a command, but it's not just stop. It's lift, it's throw, it's velocity, it's all that stuff. Like even like what she kind of finished off the fight with Boa was that it wasn't just like an aspect of creating rules within an area, but it was also creating enhancements. So she's able to increase the velocity of something she throws. So she literally goes, it's not just stopping you, it's not just throwing stuff. It's literally I can say move faster, not stop, lift, move faster. Yeah, her fight with Boa like opened that door. So I'm still the mindset that I think X is specifically not wanting her to go up there. Now, who do you think X is after the recent episodes?
Who do I think X is?
Mm-hmm.
I really honestly don't know.
It'd be funny if he was Zero. No.
I don't think it's Zero. I think that's too easy.
The pods.
Huh?
The pods.
The pods?
When they went in the spaceship.
Oh, okay.
Johnny specifically points out the pods are empty.
That's not impossible.
So he's like an idea of like, what if possibly X is one of the aliens that got out? My longtime theory has always been that X is just specifically somebody that has seen the future and can bend reality and is trying to stop. Now we know, possibly he's trying to stop another Zero. And I was very under the impression that because X shows up when Queen was going for X, that he knew that Queen having almighty power is not gonna be good, and he specifically came there to stop her from getting X. Because hers ultimate control and her whole idea is that she wanted to command and get rid of the trust system, and I think that was like sort of that sign that he's like, no, no, you're not doing that. Again, if he's an alien, I wonder if that was what his purpose has been here. His power's obviously been reality. It seems like he's able to change his appearances, which doesn't really. It's not too far of a stretch with the idea of changing reality.
Well, I think that you're probably right about Zero getting. She would probably get too close to it with her ability over control. If fear is to interact with her power, the opposite of control would be chaos. So that would be quite an interesting. Couldn't you technically, theoretically say that she already has her fear power? Ooh, that's interesting.
What? What rabbit hole you go and find?
Well, somebody already said chaos is out there, so
yeah, Lou. Well, they imply that's what Lou is. He's disaster or something like that. They called him Calamity.
Calamity is not chaos.
Yeah.
Calamity can have chaos in it, but
he causes misfortune. Really, is what they were kind of implying with Lou. Again, it's sort of like one of those kind of word things with characters and their names, or characters in translation from Chinese. I'm not sure exactly what they're going for with him. They imply the idea that he just brings about disaster wherever he goes. That's like the distilled concept of what Lou is. I did find it funny that we have technically two Lus. I for a brief moment was like, I wonder if the Lou from the orphanage, if that was his family name and he was kicked out by Professor Lou. Nah, I'm not gonna go there. His parents were on the plane. Let's stop with that crazy stuff there. I was interested to see that apparently Vortex was involved with the plane crash. I don't know if you noticed that too, but I'm like, wait, they never mentioned a hero Vortex being involved with the plane crash.
They said he was on the plane or something like that. He died in the plane.
The translation seems weird. I think some people were getting the impression that it was meaning that he was going to stop the plane crash and he died somewhere in there. I was in the impression based on how it was worded on the actual, I think it was the dub, or maybe I checked both the sub. Anyways, I was getting the impression based on the translation that he was on the plane. Either way, like even if he's in the plane or if he's trying to go save, somebody killed that dude. And they're blaming it on the train.
Yeah, he was on the plane, and somebody asked the question, why couldn't he save the plane?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if he had the powers to literally manipulate things with the vortex, anything that he wants will go into the vortex. I mean, yeah, maybe the vortex would destroy the plane.
Well,
either way, it's obvious that this whole thing was. That's what Zen was getting into. That's why Zen is doing what he's doing, is he knows that they're corrupt and that the heroes caused the plane crash, or they caused it because of the fact they were disputing or whatever. But the plane wreck was an example of where the heroes are not doing their job properly. This shouldn't have happened, kind of thing. But to say that Vortex was going there and he ended up dead, what? This dude was. Yeah, he was going for X. This dude was tough. Mm-hmm. No, he was X. Dude was X. He was X. He was going to have to fight the guy again, and that's why he wanted Sheng. He was going to have to fight him again. Yeah, that plane crash. Who killed Vortex? Now I want to know who killed Vortex. Again, it's just the games these people play is really what a lot of this is games people play. These different company owners. I don't know if at that point we really would have had
Game of Heroes. Are we playing Game of Heroes?
Yeah, right. Game of X Throne. It's Game of X Throne. But no, they wrapped up that last episode with this. Do you think they're going to switch back to CGI?
No, I just think I guess it's possible. We still haven't seen the dog yet, though.
Oh yeah, at this point, I'm assuming we're going to either. My predictions for the next episode would be either getting into Dragon Boy, because obviously they just showed Dragon Boy at the very end of the episode because he's with Rock.
He's definitely in there.
So they're either going to do Dragon Boy, or my hope is that they will get into Old Nice. Now they could do both, because again we're at year 41. So what they could do is start off right where we left off the last episode. He sends Dragon Boy to go do something, and we'll probably learn about Dragon Boy, and that will eventually lead into possibly an explanation of why Nice jumps off the building, and then that will finish both Dragon Boy and finish off the rest of Nice's story, because then that will go right into Lin Ling. The other route that they can do is go into just go straight into Nice and tell the rest of Nice's story and how he loses his mind. Because the question there I've always had from the very beginning of the story is, why did he jump? And it can also, as they're telling Dragon Boy's story, they can also tell why Isol goes to kill Moon. So I think that all that can come together. Next episode is literally next episode is literally just Rock utilizing Isol and Dragon Boy, and how that leads to Old Nice's death and Moon's death. That's my prediction right now. And then we'll do Dog episode. Which Dog episode looks like he's going to have his own art style.
I have no faith in this show. It likes to go farther back in time. So I'm thinking that we're going back in time. I think we're going to the Dog.
I was before I fired up episode 20. I'm like, if you open up with somebody else's backstory, I'm gonna flip a lid. And it opens up with Nice, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. Just say why he's going there, and you move on. Thank you. Because I'm like, I'm so sick of jumping around. I'm so sick of jumping around. At least it's all coming together very well. Like I admit that at some point I get frustrated with how it jumps around too much, but it has done good to sort of at least show why everybody's masterminding what they're masterminding.
I think it's solidly told. The story wise it's solidly told. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting so fatigued with going farther and farther back. It's getting to the point where I'm having a hard time keeping everybody straight.
Even though it's only gone back once.
Huh?
It's only gone back once though.
What are you talking about?
We talked about this last time. It only went back to Isol, and then it's been going forward in time ever since then. Isol was the first back, and it was the furthest back, and then it went and told how Isol became who he was, and then it told why Lucky Siam became who he was, and Queen, and then Loli, and then Johnny.
Okay.
No, Ghostblade was... I'm sorry, Ghostblade went back again. You're right. We did come to conclude that Ghostblade was another jump back, technically.
But I agree. I almost want to go back and watch Nice's story again. Because it feels like I've been through so many other stories that I'm almost forgetting a lot of what was going on with Nice, and I think that it really shocked me to see him there. So I mean, that's
nice.
why. Yeah, it
nice.
So I can only assume. I automatically assumed it was the old Nice, but still. It was shock to see him. Isol didn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But him, yeah, that but at the same time I was thinking it was the old Isol too. So
my whole thing I was bringing that up for, I'm curious as to, I want to find out why Nice jumps. Cuz my initial impression was that what Miss J said, when you get to this point of being a hero, there is a side of it that is not pleasant, and you're going to have to deal with that. And the assumption there is it is the hordes of being a hero, the expectations. But as we find out, it's the curse. It's really the curse. What you are dealing with. Again, Firm Man can't even sit down to take a dump.
Yeah.
Moon can't go anywhere but side of the person that she doesn't like. Again, and as we're finding out, perfection with Nice. So I'm assuming that she knew very well what probably drove Nice over the edge, and it was his obsession with perfection. Everybody they even said it with Shang pointing out, what I formed you around, your ability, was around perfection, which was molded based off of fear. To get around the idea of people's fear of fear, it's the idea of having a hero with perfection, which I'm kind of wondering if it's based off of Zero. Because Zero wasn't perfect. He was seen as a god, but he had one flaw and he killed somebody. Anyways. So I'm guessing what his thing is going to be is perfection, because it's already showing signs that because he's not achieving things, it's frustrating him. The guy on the report, the TV's like, he could become top 10 within the next year. Like, the fact that he's not going to arrive there soon is agitating him. The fact that Shang is leaving him because he's a failure agitates him. The fact that Queen walked right past him like a queen agitates him. And I think it's going to be what drives... I just don't know if that will drive over the edge, because you would think with the idea of... Perfection can go to different ways. One could be the idea of, because he wants to achieve something and feels that he's perfect, he's going to keep driving until he gets that point. But there's the other side of it, as that the failure of reaching perfection will make him realize that eventually that he's a failure and want to drive him over the edge. I have a feeling that it can't be perfection, because I would feel the perfection would lead him to want to keep pushing until he achieves perfection. If his drive is perfection, he will always drive to perfection, and never would do something imperfect by jumping off a building. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it is an interesting
I think it's
quandary.
Controlled. I'm still going back to my original theory. I think he was controlled to jump off. You remember the building billboards were glitching? It could be a stylistic choice. I mean, it had the creepy music playing. Jerk, 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 and he's got his finger up like this, yelling about Nice, and then suddenly Nice starts coming down, but the billboards are like glitching. It could be doing that to make the scene unsettling, that thing's glitching out. I think it's purpose. I want to say that he was controlled.
You might be right. I mean, we could go back to what is X's power, because we go back to that and we don't know what it is exactly that he has. We do know that he undermined her control power.
Yeah.
So whatever he has is an insane amount stronger than that. And he's the only wild card that we have that has a power that's strong enough to overpower her control.
Oh yeah, I'm convinced X has been puppeteering the entire time, because he was there with Lucky, gave her a coin. I think if I've been wanting to go back, I don't have time. I've been wanting to go back and look at every single episode, every story arc, and see if a guy shows up at some point in the background that kind of stands out a little bit, specifically a black hair, because whenever he's like not X, he's got black hair. Play with toys, Yuki. So I feel like he's going around and manipulating things. And I've always thought that possibly he made Lin Ling see Moon's death as a warning, and he failed to successfully protect her from that warning, because she dies the same way as what he envisions. I mean, there was even the idea that possibly she died in the bed there, and then X undid it, and then they kill her again, and X might have to undo it again. It's obviously showing that everything sort of is showing that X is building a team. I feel like in the end, X is building a team, and I think it all stems around what they were talking about. Rock was talking about. I think even Lighter talked about that heroes of today are manufactured and they're not true heroes. And it's going to come to a time where something will come. Could be those aliens. A real threat's going to come, and they're not going to be ready for it. Because none of these people know what they're doing. They're all marketed.
Yeah.
Like Johnny says, I need to finally get to better. I need to learn how to train. I need to start training with you guys. Why does Johnny suck so much? Because his entire, what FOMO, that social media system that Zach made, what was it having Johnny do?
Control Big Johnny.
Well, no, that no. It's the whole regimen that this organization has him doing. This system has set up for him, is to go out and smile in front of moms and kids. Ghostplay was his first real job. That whole mission there. That's why at the end he's like, I have to get stronger because I've been sitting in front of a TV for this entire time. Wanted to be like my dad, because he was trying to get to Vortex, but Vortex died. Random plane crash. Yeah, I think X is probably trying to form them, and that leads me to believe that he could have been trying to save Nice because he needs Nice, but then Nice eventually jumps off a building. And again, I don't think we've implied anybody has... Queen. Queen. At some point, he rubbed Queen the wrong way, and so she's like, Nice. KS. KYS. Just like Frerin. Just like we had a Frerin moment between Nice and Queen. She's like, KYS Nice, and he just jumps off the building. That would be the greatest twist ever, to find out that Queen killed Nice. Because that's what it is. She was taking a shower, and then she got out of the shower and she went into, and she's in her her spot in the tower, and she came out there and went to go get some clothes, and he went flying right by her window, and it's like a slow motion, and he's looking up like this, and she's like, KYS. Anyways, that's my crazy theory right there. And Queen didn't realize it because she just like commanded it just because she's mad, and then come find out later on that she totally killed him. That would be so funny. I want that to legit happen now, because I think that would be the coolest little twist ever, is that just Queen just accidentally takes him out. I know that's not, it doesn't seem like that's how Queen's ability works. It's like they have to be within like the zone and all that kind of stuff. Anything else?
It's so something that people could probably do. There's enough clips that I bet you they could pull it off.
What make that play
the only thing that I think that you'd have a hard time with is her in a bath towel.
We can make it happen. we can draw it. We can make it happen. we will make it happen. Anyways,
All the material is there. They just have to put it together. Just like a little puzzle pieces.
anything else on that one?
No, I think we've gabbed it out.
I love that it's such a stupid, simple show. We could talk about it forever. It's just a fun show. It's a show that's both simple and complex and just easy to understand and easy to talk about. Really, is what it is. It's an easy show to talk about. Anyways, I think that's it. Next podcast is gonna be the preview, I think. So get ready for that, Chris. I will hopefully start the
How
outline
many?
for that. Definitely not as bad as
you don't
this
have
season.
to count. I was scared.
Did you have? Did you? Like, Andrew knows off the top of my head?
you have a habit of keeping count of them while they're building. So
3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 42, 44. It looks like 45, 47 so far. And then like 3 carryovers. It'll probably be 60. We still have like 2 weeks of announcements. Like usually within usually the first month of the last month of the current season is when everything starts getting announced. But the thing is that I appreciate is that it doesn't look like a whole bunch of stuff that I'm super excited for. So at least I won't be dying on the weekend. Because again, like I said, right now it's like 6 shows that I'm trying to turn out within 2 days. But we'll see. We'll see next week. But anyways, we hope. Oh, we almost forgot the community questions segment. Hold on, let's do one question. We have to do it every single podcast, otherwise, we're not doing the podcast properly. For those that don't know, again, at otakuspirit.com, you can go there for our links. We have a Discord, and the community can join there, and we have a questions area, which is called Submit Questions, conveniently enough. And we have a question from Soto. You own a lot of physical books, but what do you think of digital books and devices like e-readers? Do you think that using this type of device make the charm of a real book decrease?
no,
I think this is good because you are mostly e and I am mostly physical.
right.
I do both, but
I say no. I would highly, if you don't do it, I would highly suggest getting an e-reader with e-ink. And it is, to me, it is only a step down from a book. On it, where I think that it shines is the fact that you don't have to have that bend. Does that make sense? You know how you're holding the book open like this? You don't have to do that. You just have this little tablet that you're just clicking. And it's easy on the eyes. I highly suggest anything in e-ink as far as that's concerned. It's great.
So my experience is that I have read a lot of manga physically, and I think it works really well there. But I will admit that my ownership of physical books is purely around the idea of collecting.
Yes.
I don't, like when I do my Mashoko Mondays, I'm never actually reading straight out of the book. I go and I pulled it up because we laugh at whatever they actually printed. Like, oh my gosh, they actually printed that in this book. They put ink to the paper and thought that was the proper sentence there. Lol. But like actually reading it, I will end up doing digitally. I have used my iPad in the past to read manga, and I haven't read books on it. I don't see myself liking to read on a tablet a book. I can see manga I've done before again. I think works fine, especially with that contrast there. But if I were to like long read a book, like just words, I would want e-ink.
Yeah.
Because I've used one before and they're better on the eyes. You don't have that as much contrast. It's by design, it's e-ink. It's not really necessarily like LED with like massive backlit and stuff. What also helps out there as well is if you're going outside and whatnot, it's less glare. It's much more easier to pick up with when you're in an outdoor environment. Like everything about reading, and I think especially for the eyes and conditionings, I think is better with e-ink. But manga, without a doubt, without a tablet. But I prefer both. Like I like the idea of, even if I do own a manga and I do own a novel, I will still read them digitally in a lot of cases because again, they're collectabilities. I also like the idea of not going out of my way to try to break open that spine all the time, which will happen. Which eventually I will probably do that. Like, I always joke about it, and it's technically like in the back of my head somewhere there is that, yeah, if at some point things go south, which, I mean, with a lot of what we're going on with like online right now and all the ID crap that's happening right now could eventually happen, I'm going to want to have a lot of physical stuff in order to consume and enjoy outside of, you know, availability purchase anymore. But I like I said, I like both of them.
Yeah, I will always concede the collectability debate to Andrew, because I absolutely agree with that. I don't like digital licensing. I think that is absolutely a scam, but it is what it is. So,
yeah, the only problem with digital is the digital platforms, because I really think that a lot of them are horrible. If I were ever to get like super serious with like e-readers and stuff like that, it would be, if anything, it would be, if I own it, I'm going to get a PDF of it and I'm going to have it physically. I'm not going to have like EPUB version crap like that. I'm going to literally have a PDF that I can have at all times and I cannot be revoked. And again, I would probably going through whatever I currently own. I mean, just similar to like the idea of video game ownership. If I own the video game, I will have a ROM of it.
I've definitely considered the idea of getting a whole bunch of little micro SD cards and just making an entire library of all my stuff.
Yeah. Eventually, I would love to do that. I just, it's like one of those things where at the time, because I admit it's here, have done that stuff in the past, like where I got very digital hoardy, where I wanted to download every single anime that I ever had owned or watched before, and I wanted to have like a massive hard drive that was full of a whole bunch of stuff. But it's like availability of this stuff is so much more easier now that you don't really have a necessity to keep it local. But again, when things are changing, it could happen. So yeah, I would love to eventually do that. Just have, again, all of ReZero, all of Mushoku Tensei, all the manga that I currently own, all of them digitalized as well. Because, I mean, the biggest obvious negative of physical is that a single spark and all this stuff is gone. That's the big negative. They're not fireproof. All this up here is not fireproof. So that's definitely the positive there. With, I mean, technically your tablet could be on the desk when that spark goes off, and it's gonna nuke too. But yeah, there's the negatives and positives, both sides of it. But I do admit that a lot of my consumption is digital anymore, and it's because I don't want to break the spines, man. I don't want to break the spines, man. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Soto. Hopefully that answers your question. Anyways, that's we'll call it there. We have a few more questions to go, so you guys have a few weeks to kind of, well, no, we have a month. You guys have a month to prepare some questions so that we have plenty for next time. Apologies that we didn't get around to answering more, but I think I got in the mindset that we don't have questions areas in our impressions. We're still getting used to it. I'm sorry. We're still getting used to the new format. Had a few requests last week. I do love the fact that a lot of people are very positive on the shift of our schedule. Again, like I said before, it's not permanent. We might shift things again, but for now it seems to be working well for me, at least. I don't know about Chris. But we'll see things as they go along. But I know a few people were requesting something we've talked about before, which is to convert some of my videos that I'm doing on YouTube to the podcast form. I might look into that, but it would probably be specifically only like topic videos that I do, not all my impressions videos. So like, again, here recently I did the video on Dandadan and their whole legal dispute. Maybe possibly exporting those and throwing them up on Spotify or something like that to go out to everybody's podcast feeds. I may do something like that. I was also considering possibly just doing a separate feed altogether for that. So have like a Otaku Spirit YouTube feed and then have the Animecast its own feed. I was thinking of actually having Otaku Spirit Animecast as our thing, and Otaku Spirit is just strictly the feed for the YouTube. But I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We'll see. But yeah. Anything?
No.
You want to talk about before we wrap it up?
Mm-mm.
Okay. But we appreciate you guys for checking us out. We hope you guys enjoy this anime cast. As always, if you did, again, hit the like button if you're on YouTube. Give us a rating on your podcast thing of choice. Again, at otakuspirit.com is where all of our links are to social media and all that kind of stuff. Greatly, greatly appreciate you guys' support. And until next time, I'll take care.
Os.